And we are live, Mr. Chair.
Very good, thank you. This is Greg Young. I'm the chair of the Conservation Commission. And this open meeting of the Northborough Conservation Commission is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, the town of Northborough has been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. All members of the Northborough Conservation Commission are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order allows Northborough Conservation Commission to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. Members of the public who wish to view the live stream of this meeting may do so by going to Northborough Remote Meetings on YouTube via the link listed on the agenda. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. Conferring member access. Members, as I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Diane Gouldner.
Here.
Todd Helwig.
Here.
Justin Dufresne.
Here.
And I do not see Kelly. Steph, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Chief David Parenti.
Here's your host.
Very good. All right. Ground rules. For presenters and/or applicants on the agenda, I will invite each speaker or applicant on the agenda by name to make a presentation and speak to their application. Participants will provide their full name and hold until their name is called. Each speaker will be asked to mute their phone or computer when not speaking and to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate meeting minutes. Those responding will be asked to wait until the floor is yielded to them by the chair. Speakers who wish to respond to the comments of others do so through me, taking care to identify themselves. Each vote taken by the board or committee shall be conducted by roll call vote. For items of public comment, after members have spoken, we will afford public comment as follows. By phone, dial *9 to raise your hand and wait to be recognized by the chair. Please note that part of your phone number will be visible to those viewing the meeting. By Zoom, click Raise Hand on the bottom of your screen and wait to be recognized by the chair. The chair will ask members of the public who wish to speak to identify their names and addresses only. Once the chair has a list of all public commentators, the chair will call on each by name and afford 3 minutes for any comments. If we have any technical difficulties, I will suspend the meeting while we attempt to resolve the problems. Diane, I think you are on.
Okay. There will be a meeting of the Northborough Conservation Commission on Wednesday, August 12th, 2020 at 6 p.m. The meeting will include the following hearings pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, and the Northborough Wetlands Protection Bylaw. Request for determination of applicability for 0 Crawford Street by the Mass Department of Conservation and Recreation for installation of a security fencing and associated site work at Cold Harbor Brook Flood Control Facility. Request to amend Order of Conditions 247-1138 at 120 Hudson Street by John Oakes for proposed landscaping, site improvements, and the associated site work. That's it.
Thank you, Diane.
You're welcome.
All right, starting here. Minutes of June 29th and July 8th. In both of those meetings, we had no absences of commissioners, so we have a quorum for both tonight. June 29th meeting minutes. Any questions or comments on those? If none, is there a motion?
I would move to approve the minutes.
Second,
We need to take a roll call vote. Diane Goldner,
yes.
Todd Helwig,
Yes.
Justin Dufresne,
Yes.
and I will vote yes. July 8th meeting minutes. Any questions or comments on those?
I move that we accept them.
Second.
Roll call vote. Diane Goldner,
Yes.
Todd Helwig,
Yes.
Justin Dufresne,
Yes.
and I will vote yes also. Minutes are accepted. Okay, we have a few continuations. The first one is the NOI for 161 Church is continued to 9/21. So we will go right down then to 0 Crawford Street, the RDA. And we have a couple of,
Greg, could you, it's a request to continue, so you have to
Oh, we
have
need
a
to vote on that,
motion.
don't we?
Yeah,
yes, okay. We are voting on the request to continue the NOI for 161 Church Street.
I move that we continue 161 Church Street until, what was it? September 12th?
9/21.
9/21, okay.
Second.
Seconded by Todd. Roll call vote. Diane,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
Justin,
Yes.
and I will vote yes also. Continued to September. Now we'll go to 0 Crawford Street. We have a couple of folks, Bill Saloma, I believe. I need to promote him, right? So Bill is there, and who else? Do we have? Robert Lowell's with us too. Robert's also promoted. Hello,
Yes.
Robert.
Good evening.
Bill, you are muted. There you
Am
go.
I unmute? Am I hearable now?
We can hear you. We can hear you now. Very good. Very
Great.
good. Okay, just bring us back to where we are. This is for 0 Crawford Street, Cold Harbor Brook. There was some damage done to embankment there on the stream. And we had discussion in August, I believe, in July, that we had a plan in place to start with an RDA and then moving to an NOI in September. So is that kind of still our high level plan?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Good. So here we're here today for the RDA discussion then. All right, you are on.
Bill, would you be willing to take the lead on the discussion here?
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I filled out an RDA, submitted it to the commission through MIA. I provided the sketches attached to the RDA that we had viewed in front of the commission last month.
Yep.
And our plan is to make one so-called temporary installation that could be there for quite some time until such time we restore the bank to the satisfaction of the commission. That is the property right adjacent to Cold Harbor Brook, opposite some neighbors that are feeling some stress from the dog exposure at the facility. The other installation is going to be permanent as a safety precaution to keep people and their pets out of the water near the facility principal spillway where there can be significant flows, and that will hopefully prevent another incident from happening as happened not too long ago with the death of a dog. And that's
Bill, doesn't the so-called
Yep.
permanent solution also include taking down the temporary fence and putting up some other type of natural barrier?
No, we're going to install a 60-inch high heavy-duty industrial. It's going to look nice. It's going to be a black finish, but a heavy-duty fence as a permanent installation around that principal spillway.
Okay, this will change my last discussion here, but that's fine. So,
I'm sorry, I must have misspoke because that's been our intention all
Okay.
along.
fair enough. Mia, is there anything we want to share on this, or does the commission know enough about it?
Do you want me to share the photo with the fence superimposed on it? That's part of the application.
Please, that'd be good, yeah.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. This is the temporary.
Well, now that's the permanent one, I believe, isn't it?
Nope, that's temporary. That's just a temporary fence at the stream. And then this is the permanent one at the spillway.
Oh, okay. What I was referring to in my other comment was at the stream, the temporary fence is still temporary. There's going to be some sort of natural boundary put up.
Oh, yes, yes, we're
Yes.
gonna
That-
work
that's
with
what I was
Mia and
talking
others. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we're good. And all that, and the permanent solution will be part of the NOI, correct?
That's what
no,
we
I wasn't
anticipate.
intending on that. I was intending on the NOI addressing the erosion and damage to the bank by the brook on the first photo that Mia showed.
So I think to clarify, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, so this first part is permanent, and it's the permanent fencing around the spillway,
Mhm.
and that's part of this RDA. Then this second part is a temporary fencing around the eroded stream bank. That's part of this RDA. And then later, an NOI will be submitted for the permanent restoration of the stream bank. Does that help?
Yeah, it does. I'm not trying to be an issue here, but wouldn't the permanent fence be more applicable to an NOI than an RDA? And the RDA is for a temporary solution.
So my opinion is that the permanent fencing is not within the wetland resource area.
Okay,
It's up, kind of up on the embankment here. And then this temporary one is within, it goes right up to the bank. So it's just temporary. And then the permanent solution would have to be the work if they do, if, they're still working. I believe that, maybe Robert and Bill can address this, but they're working on a more permanent solution to restore this bank that would be considered work in the wetlands that would have to be considered under an NOI.
right.
Yeah, exactly, Mia. We're gonna be doing some invasive work there to restore that, so we'll be working right on the bank. So that definitely requires an NOI.
And that also included some plantings, Bill, as I understood too, that would help discourage future access.
Yes, and maybe some strategically placed boulders to make just to have the appearance that we don't want people continuing to access that location and causing the ongoing damage. And we'll put we have some ideas for some signage too, and we'd like to test those against Mia's experience to see what might be most effective.
Mia, again, refresh me. What's our jurisdiction here? I mean, this is DCR land, right?
They own the land. We don't, so there's no permission to do the work. It's just permission in relation to its effect on the wetlands. And so
On
this,
both
this
sides.
is being proposed as a temporary. So the second part, the temporary fencing, is a temporary solution to a future more permanent solution for restoring the bank. And then the other one, the permanent fencing, this is buffer zone only work. So it's really just if you have to determine, your request for determination is, can you determine that this will alter the wetlands? Will this fence alter the wetlands?
All right, any commissioners have questions?
I think we went through it pretty detailed at the last meeting, so I'm all set.
You good? Okay. Todd, you're okay?
Yep.
Diane?
Yes.
All right, let me take a look and see if we have any public comment. I don't see any hands raised. Okay. All right, so then believe we need a motion here.
We need a motion to close the hearing first, Mia?
Yes, we do.
No, just a motion to
No?
issue a negative determination.
Gotcha.
That's an excellent
It's a,
question,
this
Justin.
is not a hearing, it's a meeting, sorry.
All right, well, I have a motion to issue a negative determination.
Second,
Second,
Okay. Roll call vote. Diane Gouldner,
yes.
Todd Helwig,
yes.
Justin Dufresne,
Yes.
and I will also vote yes. So Mia, you'll take care of that. And any stipulations in there, or is it just the plan as outlined to us?
Unless you had anything.
Can't think of anything. Just a timeline, Bill. What do you think a timeline is going to be for the for both the temporary and the NOI? You still looking for September for the NOI?
I'm hoping to get the fence in the next couple of weeks,
Great.
and we'll September may be a bit early for the NOI. It may be more likely October.
Yep.
But I'll keep Mia informed of our progress.
And you said the fence, you're talking the temporary fence or the permanent fence? Or both?
Both. We'd have a contractor out there to knock off both of them at the same time.
Great. Okay. Good deal. All right. I think we're good with that. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you for your time this
Thank you,
evening.
everyone.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thanks.
Take care.
Thanks, Mia.
Okay. Now I'm gonna go, I've got to. I'm gonna remove them, right?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, they both left on their own, so you're all set.
Yeah, okay, good. Okay, we are at now 120 Hudson Street. Request to amend the order of conditions. Me, you want to set this up for the group?
Sure, I think there is an attendee named Judith Oakes. That might be John.
I will bring her in. Let's see. Judith Oakes, I have, yes, yes. Promote to panelist, Judith Oakes. Anybody else?
Oh, we can ask them. I do see DJ Davidian. He is the landscaper who's working with Mr. Oakes.
Okay, let's bring him in too then.
Oh, maybe, hold on. How do I unmute?
You are on, you are unmuted.
Oh, I apologize. It's John Oakes.
John Oakes, okay.
John Oakes. The computer says Judith, but it's John Oakes.
Yes, should I bring DJ Davidian in, John?
If you want to, I don't know. He said he was just going to listen in, but I don't
Okay.
know. If
Okay.
you can if you want. I don't know. I'm not sure if he's actually there or not.
He's showing on the whole. I want to promote him to panelist and see what happens. There he is. Hello, DJ. You are muted.
Hello.
Hello. Excellent. Okay, Mia, why don't you set up what's going on here?
They have an existing order of conditions to do some site work at 120 Hudson Street, and they'd like to make a few additions to that, finish up what was already approved. And I can share the plan. We did receive a revised plan today. Would you like me to share the plan and let John explain it?
Yes, please.
Can you see the plan?
I can see the plan.
Okay, I just have that. And then I have the revised plan that we received today. So we can start with the original one.
Okay.
You want? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. So what we're trying to do is a couple of different things. One, starting from the front of the property, to replace the existing driveway which essentially extends really 40 feet from Hudson Street, one lane or 12 feet. And what we're trying to do there is we're trying to, number one, replace what's there with, right now it's broken up asphalt. And so again, it would be a non-porous material that would be placed down asphalt and or pavers. And we're also looking, because Hudson Street's a tough road, we're looking to put a turnaround on the side on one end so that you'd be able to pull in and pull onto Hudson Street going, heading out front end and not backing out in the street. So there is, according to Fred, the engineer, we have enough room based on the formulas in order to certainly account for that additional spacing. And then following, we're also looking, heading back into the backyard area. You can see where there's a 20 by 20 foot patio that we're looking to have installed in the back of the house. And to get there, there used to be stone steps coming down from the upper tier or the one near the road to the lower level. And those aren't, we're going to be reinstalling stairs coming down to the lower level is what we'd like to do. And to that, to the right of the stairs, to install with existing stone that is already there, a small retaining wall going 10 feet, going across to hold the dirt from the first tier in place, so as to provide a stable environment. With that, they would be coming down, we would have 2 to 3, well, actually 3 various planting areas for flowers along the side of the house area, as far as that, for planting flowers and plants, again, in the, we would have. And we would also have, in going further down, there's a slope here that runs to the river. And what the intent at this point is that I've installed, as of earlier today, actually, we've installed a silt fence that runs from actually a little more than 50 feet, probably 60 feet, from one end of the property to the other. That's been installed by the base, 25 feet from the river's edge heading up. So that has been installed, which would hopefully take care of any runoff that may come from the slope here, which the more immediate plan, at least pertaining to the slope, is that we're going to begin actually shortly this weekend, planting various low green shrubs, such as juniper bushes, to name one, Japanese juniper bushes, running throughout the landscape, the slope area, in order to hold the soil in place and to provide a good ground cover for stability in the event of runoff or storms, essentially. The other area is coming down towards the river. There is a series of 3, you can see them. That's I apologize for my coloring, but it's essentially clump of 3 trees that we have here. One of them is leaning in such a manner that if in falling, it would end up hitting my neighbor's storage unit, or what do we call it? We call it a shed.
Good. Yeah.
So that's one thing that I would, like to take out at some point before a storm, ends up doing it, for us, essentially. Let's see what else. That's DJ, who is DJ Davidian, who is the landscaper who I'm hiring in order to do the work for this. I don't know if he has anything to say, but it's,
Mr. Oak, excuse me, before we go to DJ
Go ahead.
Davidian, I've got two questions here.
sure.
First question is, which of these activities are in addition to the existing order? What's the new,
Oh,
what
There's
are the new
only,
activities?
there's essentially two items. One, installing installing or planting shrubs on the slope.
Yep.
Which is colored in brown. I'm not sure if you can see that saying slope. And the other is the removal of the hazardous tree, which is down in the diagram going towards the river. Those
Okay.
are really the only two things, and the silt, fencing that's already been
Right.
installed.
Okay, so those are the only two
Those
new
are the
items
only-
here.
Those are the only
Well-
two things that we're looking on that area.
Greg, could I interrupt for a second?
go ahead, Mia.
Was your question, what are the things that are different from the original order or from the
Yeah,
original?
What's the net new from the original
No,
order?
everything he just
The
said.
planting of the shrubs.
No, I'm sorry, but everything he just said, the whole shebang that he just presented on is the amendment request, which is in addition to the old previous order.
Oh, I
Yeah.
misunderstood.
So that he did give us two additional items
All right, I'm
today.
sorry.
Yeah, to add
Okay.
to the amendment. So
Okay, so
Okay.
yeah,
is-
that's
I
okay. It's
apologize.
just
All right.
wording.
is everything from the original order complete? Or
No,
not?
it's not.
Okay.
If we, on the original, which is on the side of the house,
Yep.
on the Assabet, as far as heading towards the aqueduct area on that side of the house, eastbound on on Hudson Street, heading towards Marlboro. What is remaining to be done there is the rounding, or essentially bringing dirt in to fill in on the on the edge of the hill of the slope area, which a tree was removed earlier. So in other words, the tree was removed, and we're looking to fill that space in with dirt in order to
Okay.
provide a stable environment. And
All right.
that has not been done.
Okay, but that's already
that's-
approved.
Yes, and that's the
Okay.
only thing. There's nothing else in addition to that area.
Okay, so everything else that we've been talking to here on page 2 with the slope and diagram and
It's
the
all
previous,
amended, yes,
that's all
sorry.
net new. Okay.
Yeah, I apologize.
Nope, no, it's not a problem. Second question I have is around the silt fence. That's who installed that?
Well, I put it in initially, and I have a landscaper coming to do it, finishing up tomorrow. In other words, I got it, I put it, fit 25 feet up,
Okay,
and I'm gonna have the landscaper do it.
okay. Mia, you know where I'm going with this. We want to make sure it's installed correctly, right?
Oh, yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay.
That's not my thing, but I did put it out as far as so we can get
Okay.
it done.
All right. Now there is that one other piece, Mia, about the clearing, which was not expected, right?
Yes. And that was in the removal of the fence, the dog fence, which mistakenly we took out prior to the meeting.
Right. So for the other commissioners here, what we're looking at here, this whole area here, the slope area from the part near the house down to the river was supposed to be left alone, and it was clear cut. So that's the other point here that Mr. Oaks is referring to, and that's the reason why we're replanting that slope. That's a fair statement, Mia?
It
Mia,
isn't. It is, and it looks like you're proposing some, would you say creeping juniper on the
Yes,
slope?
low line, heading approximately 75 to 100 plants anyway to start.
Okay.
Is what would be going in that area. Starting first on the top of the slope closest to the house, and then working down, but also on the baseline as well.
Okay. All right.
And that would be starting, well, now,
Okay.
or soon, I should say.
Mia, one procedural question here. So presuming that there's approval on the additional work. Does that still fall into the same timeline as the original order?
Yes, and that expires this October. So they haven't requested an extension. Requesting an extension is very simple, but it is a separate. You can't extend the date of an order under an amendment request. It would have to be a separate, but it's
Okay.
just an email, Mr. Oakes. You can just, if you're not going to be done by October, just send us an email before the expiration date, which I can get you the exact expiration date.
I have the original paperwork, October, I forget the date, October 12th. But I do
Yeah.
have it, but if you have it.
It's Halloween. Send us an
Late
email
October.
before Halloween and we can get it on the agenda to
Okay.
see how long
Okay.
you need to extend.
All right, good deal. Thank you, Mr. Oakes. Any questions from the commission?
So,
No questions. Everybody's good.
Quick one. Where the patio's going, is there something there already, or is that a new?
No, that's a new space. That's a new, nothing is there.
Okay.
And as far as with taking up, covering space or covering ground cover, that square footage is calculated in the formula that's used to determine how many square feet that we can actually use. And we are well within that number as far as that goes.
Okay. Cool. And then the only other question I had just on the driveway, I think it's a great idea to do some type of turnaround there. I can imagine backing out of there is going to be, really, really tricky. So the only thing I noticed, it's not going to be 36 feet wide though, right?
No, that's a mistake.
Okay.
It's going to be 14 feet wide by 40 feet, which is what the distance is according to Fred Litchfield in the engineering department, what it actually is. We talked about it, and so the square footage would be sufficient as far as that goes. A square footage wise of the increase, which represents approximately, that 400 feet or so.
Okay.
Anything else, Justin?
Nope.
Todd, how about you? You're muted, by the way.
That
There you
was
go.
intentional.
Okay, very good.
I'm good.
Okay, super. Diane, you were there with us the
Okay.
other day.
yeah, I'm okay.
You're okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Greg, may I ask, is the commission satisfied with the planting plan, just a dense planting of the creeping juniper on the slope and then leaving the base, the 25 feet to the river to regrow?
That's what we prefer, right? We'd like that base to be left alone, I believe. At least I would.
I just want to note it correctly.
And I think that those plant choices are pretty good, Diane. I would look to you for some help here. But I mean, creeping juniper is pretty good, right?
Yes.
It's good for a
That
road.
should spread way out over the course of time. I mean, it's not gonna be, they're smaller bushes to start with.
Yep.
Well, they spread.
Okay. All right. All right, good. DJ, anything else you want to add?
No, we should be all set.
Okay, super. All right, so now we need to close the hearing, correct, Mia?
That's right. Well,
Okay.
public comment first.
Public comments. I'm looking for public comments. Let's take a look here. I don't see any hands raised. No public comments. We're good to go. So we need a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second,
Roll call vote to close the hearing. Diane Goldner,
yes.
Todd Helwig,
Yes.
Justin Dufresne.
Yes.
I also will vote yes.
Move to move to amend the order of conditions for 120 Hudson Street based on the plan presented.
Okay. Is there second? Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call vote. Diane Goldner,
Yes.
Todd Helwig,
Yes.
Justin Dufresne,
Yes.
I will also vote yes. The amended order of conditions is passed. So you're good to go, Mr. Oakes.
Oh, thank you very much.
Well,
I
thanks for your
appreciate
help.
it.
And
Sorry for the-
the first step is after you've got that, I guess, DJ, you're probably gonna put that silk fence in, right? You're gonna anchor that sucker down?
I can, yep. I've
Yeah.
done many of them, so I know what to
Good.
do.
Good,
Yep.
because Mia has requirements. So if you've done them before, you
Yep.
probably know what her requirements are. So she'll do a
Yep.
check anyway at some point in time. So
Okay, perfect.
cool.
It's just give me a call once it's installed. I'll come take a look.
Great. Thanks, Mia.
Thank you.
Excellent. Okay.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
We can stop sharing that, Mia, and Mr. Oakes, Mr. Davidian, you can leave the meeting or hang around.
I'll say goodnight. Thank you very much.
Hey, good night.
Good night. Thank you. All right. All right, very good. So we are moving on to certificates of compliance, Mia. We've got two continuations here. 150 Hayes wants to continue till 9/21, and also 90 West Main Street wants to continue,
Yes, both are requesting to
which
continue.
brings us to 21 Mayflower and 74 Pleasant. Any issues with those, or do we need to discuss either one? You've seen them both, I presume.
21 Mayflower was constructed as approved and no observed violations.
Yep.
And I recommend that you approve it and issue the certificate of compliance.
Okay.
Let's
What
do
about
them one at
Pleasant?
a time.
Okay. Need a motion on 21 Mayflower.
I move that we give it a certificate, give 21 Mayflower a certificate of compliance.
Second,
Roll call vote. Diane Gouldner,
Yes,
Todd Helwig,
yes.
Justin Dufresne.
Yes.
I also vote yes on 21 Mayflower. 74 Pleasant, Mia.
Yes. So I did a site visit. This is one of those projects where it was an old project. It was like a pool and
Is that on the
So-
corner of John Edwards?
across the street. Remember the illegal dumping at
Yes,
84?
Sure.
So
sure.
there's also illegal dump, happens to be the same site. It also has a little bit of that illegal dumping at 74. So the house is set back a bit and it's a long combined driveway. And then they were, they came up in the
Nope.
title search. So I did the site visit. Everything looked great. It looked exactly like the plan. But for some reason, and we usually don't require as-built when we do pools, but this order required an as-built. So I did ask for an as-built as per the order. And it came back that when they went to do the as-built, that it wasn't constructed exactly as approved, that a corner of the patio is in the 15-foot no touch. So I just need you to take a look and see if you wanted them to do anything. I'm trying to find the plan right now. Hang on just one second. I thought I had it open already. Just because this is similar to 124 Howard, where, the as-built came in and it turned out to be a little different than what we agreed on.
You're doing a share?
Yeah.
Here we go. All right. Can we make it a little bit bigger?
Mhm.
Okay.
Maybe even one more. So you can see this is the 15. And as it comes along, a little bit of the landscaping at the bottom of the slope is in there. And then and the fence, there's a fence that comes down to the bottom there. And then the 30-foot buffer has a little bit of the patio and the fence.
How long ago was that done?
I'm looking for the folder so I can tell you, and it's escaping me. Just one second.
So there's a little bit of the fence. The fence is on the 15.
Yep. Here we go. The order was issued in 2004.
Wow.
And you can see it looks like they tried to follow, like the patio. It's really just like a foot or two. And the fence is a foot or two. I can show you some photos of the site if you'd like. It's very established.
Yeah, let's take a quick look at the photos, if you wouldn't, for me anyway.
Sure. I may have to reshare a different part. Let me stop and restart.
Mia, if this, just a question while you're looking for that, if this was 2004, were those buffers the same in 2004?
Yeah, they went in 1997
Okay.
or 99. Can you see the photos?
Yep.
Yes.
So that's the fence. And then you can see beyond, it is established in there. We could ask them to move this fence up to the top of the slope and let this area grow in naturally. It's a bit landscaped. Can you see the second photo or are you still stuck on the first?
I just see the first.
All right. This is why when we share the applications, it's tricky. I think this will show us. Okay, can you see the pool
Okay.
now?
Yep.
So it's the edge of the patio over there, kind of to the left of the woman there. That edge of the patio is in the 30, and then the fence, the slope area, how the fence kind of goes down and encompasses this slope. That fence is in the 15 and the 30.
And it's all grown in, right? It's pretty well established outside that fence.
I wouldn't touch that area. If you were looking for anything, maybe we could ask them to move this fence on the to bring it over to the top of the slope and let that other stuff grow wild.
I don't know.
I'm not in favor of
I'm-
doing anything.
Yeah,
That
I'm
seems like
okay
a-
with leaving it too.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of work to be done for
Yeah.
something that's been around for 16 years.
Okay.
It looks pretty good too. Looks good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's stable. And the wetlands are slope defined, so they're not going to creep up
Good. Okay.
unless there's, Armageddon.
They aren't dumping stuff in there, are they?
No, it's clean.
Good. Good. Okay.
Move to issue a certificate of compliance.
Second.
74 Pleasant Street, right?
74 Pleasant.
Who seconded? Justin second?
Yeah.
Okay. Roll call vote. Diane Goldner,
Yes.
Todd Helwig,
Yes.
Justin Dufresne.
Yes.
I also vote yes. So issued.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So 2 continuations to next month for those. Violations. It's like we had a violation. We've had a violation section for months now, haven't we? It used to be like a rare thing. Now it's a whole section. We only have
Only
one.
one tonight.
Not bad. 68 Northgate Road. Let me see. I know I saw Mr. Stone on here. I will bring him in. Zach Stone, promoted to panelist. I hear you. I don't see you. That's okay. Zach, you gonna go video or audio, or are you still working on it?
He's unmuted.
Yeah. Mr. Stone, can you hear us?
I'm looking to see if I have his phone number. I do not have his phone number.
Oh, I got a hand up here. Hold on. Hold on. Yep, okay.
Cheryl, I would,
Okay, I just, somebody had their hand up. They wanted to talk. They are now, they're muted though. 696, end of the phone number. There's Zach Stone. Okay, Zach, are you on audio too? I can't hear you. You're muted. Yes, there you
All right.
go. There's somebody else on here. Do you know who that would be? Let me double check here.
I had my phone going too.
That must have been it. You just took it down?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're good. We're good. All right.
Yeah, I got a little kid, so I figured I'd keep a phone in case I had to go outside, you know?
I understand. All right. Mia, why don't you set this up for us and we'll move ahead.
Okay, so Greg reported this one. He said he just saw some site work happening and he knew about the stream that runs all along the houses on Northgate. This is as you're driving down Northgate towards Mayflower on the right. There's a stream behind most of the houses. I took a few photos. Do you want me to share my screen?
Sure.
Let me share the right one. Okay, can you see the photo?
I can see it.
Yep. So Mr. Stone just did some clearing. He did not bring in any fill.
Right.
He just sort of cleared the vegetation. The stream is right beyond here at the bottom of the slope. And this is the stream that goes between all those houses on Northgate. And the vegetation was not a lot. We actually had a request for certificate of compliance for this site back in January. So there really wasn't that much cleared. It was maybe a 5 or 10 foot kind of woody growth of shrubs and bushes buffer.
Yep. Pretty thick.
Mm-hmm. And so I visited the site, met him there, asked him to cease work and install a silt fence. He did immediately. And so we're just trying to determine what the next step is. If you wanted to issue an enforcement order and detail what you'd like him to do out there, or if you want him to file an after the fact permit application to really and I think the permit is the installation of a lawn and a fence.
Right. Right. We were out there on yesterday, took a look and met Mr. Stone's wife and his lovely young daughter. I think his mother-in-law too, maybe. So
Yep. Yeah, the whole crew is here.
The gang's all here. So, why don't you tell us what you're trying to do, Mr. Stone? What your end game here is?
It's pretty much that right there. I need to bring in a little bit of topsoil, but not even close to that area we're looking at right now.
Yeah.
Like up towards my house to kind of like level my yard to the neighbor's yard, so it meets nice.
It was a long way away from the resource area. It was way up.
Yeah.
40 feet anyway. So.
The only thing I'd be doing down that way would be planting grass and putting that fence up that you saw in the yard.
Okay. So the fence will be, how far is the fence going to be off the resource, off the line? Will be 25 off, 30 off?
I believe 25. Where you saw that silt fence yesterday, it's going to be in front of that towards my house.
Okay. I mean, my 2 cents here, the bad news is that work was started before an approval was given. The good news is that once notified, Mr. Stone stopped work right away, put the fence in, and has been working with me since there. So that's the good news. I would think that whatever we decide, we want to clear some of the stuff out of here, right? We want to get rid of those stumps, the brush and all of that.
Yeah. Yeah, my intent was to get rid of it. It's just, you know what I mean? Between having a kid and working, it's like my little weekend projects, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, I was thinking like closer to winter I was going to do it, but I mean, I can do it as soon as possible. You know what I mean? Whatever you guys decide.
Hey, when would the fence go in? Putting the fence in soon?
I mean, as basically I'm at your, whatever you guys tell me, you know what I mean? It's one of those.
Because I mean, I think you'll want to get that stuff out of there, obviously, before you put the fence in, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, I'd be in favor just to, an NOI, kind of after the fact NOI, just to kind of clean things up. I know how these weekend projects tend to go.
Yeah. Yep.
Todd, what are your thoughts?
I guess, I mean, I don't think it's that a huge deal. But I'm thinking, can we do some sort of skeletal notice of intent filing and fix it that way?
Yeah, Mia, you talked about an after the fact NOI, right?
That's what I recommend. It's an after the fact NOI, and I can help him fill it out. The biggest burden of those is the notification to abutters, but that's a process you have to go through with the NOI. Come back to the meeting in September.
Well, yeah, Mia, if he's not in a real hurry to get this done, just wanted to get, we could get that, we could shoot for September, get the NOI in and go from there.
Mhm.
Diane, what are your thoughts on that? You've seen the site.
Again, knowing how weekend projects go, you have the best of intentions. The quicker that he could get that out. I'm not so concerned about the fence because he may want to wait a while till it's been raining and until he can put in some grass seed so it's not wasted. I think this has been a tough climate this year. So I think along that line.
Well, maybe fall's gonna be a great planting season for us this year. Okay. Let me see if we have any more comments here. Public comments. Looking for public comments on this one. I don't see any hands up. So Mr. Stone, how would that work for you? If we pursue something where you work with me to get a notice of intent together, and you shoot for the September meeting with your plan and the skeleton, as Todd calls it, a skeletal NOI, which would be, not too detailed, or details we have to have it. And we move ahead with procedure with formally approval then, hopefully.
I mean, whatever you guys need me to do, it's just the fence is to corral a dog and a baby. You know what I mean? So,
Okay.
I mean, I'm the next 5 weeks I'm working Saturdays, but I can work Sunday at home. You know what I mean? If I can do stuff, but I mean, it's all up to you guys, really, in the end.
Well, Mia, if we go in NOI route, he's going to have 3 years from the order date, right?
Yep, you'll have 3 years to do the work. So the due date for, can you hear me okay? I think I'm not muted. Okay,
Yes, you're
so the
unmuted.
due date for it's a notice of intent permit application, and I'd help you fill it out. The fees, there's about $150 in fees, and then $105 to record it at the registry of deeds. Then we also have to notify abutters. There's, it's a permit application, so it's got some tedious steps, but I can help you through it. And then it will make a site plan, come back next month, present the project as if it had never started. It's called an after the fact filing, and that gives abutters the opportunity to comment, and the DEP to be aware of the work near the resource area as well, the state agency, the Department of Environmental Protection. And it just makes a clean slate, so that as if you had applied for a permit for the installation of a lawn and fence, and then you'll have a permit to do the work for 3 years. The only catch would be that we ask that you don't start work until after you receive the permit.
Right. I was gonna say, I can't even plan a lawn or anything until next month?
I think it would be okay to plant on. That would be considered site stabilization. What is the consensus of the commission?
Well, he wants to, especially if he wants to plant lawn up by the side of the house. Is that what you're talking about, Mr. Stone? We want to bring the dirt in?
So where I need to bring the dirt in is up towards the house, but I was gonna try and get the whole yard, you know what I mean, in one shot. If I'm gonna water it, I might as well water the whole thing,
And the silt fence is installed.
The other side too is do you want to get that lawn in before you haul all that stuff out of there?
Yeah, I mean, I can't even do that until we get that approval, right? Like, I couldn't start pulling that stuff out until the approval, or I can do that in the lawn, and then I just have to get the approval for the fence.
I think that would be fine. It's up to you guys, so.
I'd be okay with that. I mean, I think then you get some of the material out of there, you get the lawn going, at least that keeps you going a little bit, and then you come in and we do the fence. Seems fine to me.
Yeah, as long as you're on good terms with the neighbors, Mr. Stone, you should be okay.
Oh yeah, I think I got no problems with my neighbors that I know of.
Well, this is the way to find out. So that's right. So,
Seriously.
yeah, I'm okay with that too. I mean, you know, Mia's been working with you pretty closely, and you certainly seem like somebody who wants to do it the right way. And I think we're trying to meet you halfway here. So,
Yeah, no, absolutely.
all right. Let me do one more check on public. Anybody wants a comment out there? I think we're good still. All right. So this is a violation. So we're going to vote on the request to generate NOI. Correct, Mia?
I don't think you have to do anything unless you do you want to issue an enforcement order? He's received a written violation, which is the step before an enforcement order, and he's been fully compliant. So I don't think he needs an enforcement order.
I don't think we need to go that route.
No, so just no vote is needed, just as long
Okay.
as the only thing is we have to move forward in these steps that you're allowing for the material to be pulled out and the grass to be planted. The silt fence has to stay in and stay maintained. And then the fence won't be installed until after the permit is issued. If these steps aren't followed, since you've already received the violation email, the next step would be an enforcement order with a fine. But, we're just going to keep proceeding, I think, in the right direction. So no vote is needed at this time.
Okay. My only advice, Mrs. Stone, would be to stay close to Mia. Okay, 'cause she's your best friend here on this one.
So just to clarify, I can bring in some topsoil and level it up a little bit up towards the house where my neighbor's yard is, and plant grass and pull all that, the debris, like the tree branches and stuff like that. I can get rid of those. Just don't put the fence up.
Yes, and if you take down the silt fence to pull stuff out, reinstall the fence after you're done.
Correct. Yeah.
And the goal behind the silt fence will be to let that area regrow. So just don't rake it or mulch it or anything. The only thing behind that silt fence should be just the removal of the cut stuff.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. That's like I said, the fence is gonna go in front of that silt fence, like towards the house anyway. So, in all reality, I could almost leave that silt fence up until it was no good. But obviously I'll pull it out when everything's, I have a lawn, and everything's gonna stay firm.
Sure. Yep, I'm fine with that. So you got the right sequence, Mia.
Okay, so I'll just go over it. So we're going to do an after the fact NOI for the September meeting, which is due here for September 4th because we have to do the legal ad. For right now, we can pull the cut material out and plant grass, including a top dress before you plant the grass. And then, but don't install the fence till after the NOI. And just to be clear, no activity behind the silt fence except removal of cut vegetation. Does that sound good? Is that the
Sounds
consensus?
good to me.
All right.
I'm happy.
Okay.
All right. I think we're good then, Mr. Stone. So we will probably see you next month.
Very good.
Super. Thank you. Thanks for cooperating, working with us. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to, Stone is left. All right. Seems like a reasonable place to come out, Mia.
Good.
All right, we're now into the informal discussion. We've got a number of them: Edmund Hill Trail Reroute, the Eagle Scout Project, Mount Pisgah Conservation, and 8595 West Main Street informal discussion here. So let's start with the Edmund Trail Reroute. Who do we have for that?
Me.
You're the only one, huh?
There might be somebody else here to comment. I saw a Trails Committee member.
Brian
Let me go
Belfer's
back.
on.
Yep, Brian would be good to bring on. And I think I saw Bob Mihalik.
I don't see Bob Mihalik. Yes, I do. Okay, I
Yep.
got Bob
And at the
Mihalik.
bottom, Cheryl Devine. She's also a Trails
Bob
Committee
Mihalik.
member.
Brian Belfer and Cheryl Devine. All have been promoted to panelist. There's Brian. You're muted, Brian, in case you know.
Yeah, I'm here.
You're good?
Yep.
This is Bob Mahalik. I'm here.
Hey, Bob, thank you. Cheryl, you are also muted.
Yep, I'm here too.
Okay,
Cheryl.
very good. All right. All right, Edmund Hill Trail relocate. I think we all know what's going on here. We had a property owner say that we were encroaching on some of his space. There's been some efforts to put a plan together to reroute that trail. Mia's been involved in that planning, I know. So I guess want to hear the proposal here on the rerouting. Who's gonna speak, Mia? You or Brian or Bob or people unknown?
I'll defer to Bob because he's the chairman of the Trails Committee. Bob, do you want to present?
I can give a little bit of background on the the existing trail and then the reroute. So definitely based on the map that's shown, the new owner of that property, we do have a trail going across the west side of his property, way in the back. It's all wooded back there, yeah. So I think it's totally legitimate request from this homeowner to have the trail off of his property. Mia flagged a reroute around the private property, which is shown in the reddish orange line, slightly to the west of the existing property line, and I walked that on Sunday. It looks very feasible. It can be done with, from what I can tell, basically just raking it in. I don't think we'd have to. There's a fallen tree on one part of it that we may want to get out of the way, but other than that, it looks like basically just a little work party with some rakes and some hand trimmers, and we could reroute it without having to cut any trees, any standing live trees. I think it would have the benefit too of there is quite a bit of erosion on the existing trail because it goes straight up the fall line of Edmund Hill. And so the course that Mia had mapped out basically traverses the contour gradients there, and I think would be much more resistant to erosion. So it looks like a legitimate place that we could put the new trail in and actually possibly improve the area.
Very good. Very good. Okay. How long is the new, just curious, how long is that? The red piece of the new trail, I presume, right?
Yes.
How long is that? How many feet is that, would you say?
I'll let Mia comment on that. She has some GPS data from when she flagged it. And we talked about it at the Trails Committee meeting Monday night. And she could definitely update the Conservation Committee better than I could.
It's about 1,000 feet, but but two short sections, probably each about 100 feet long, piggybacks on some existing trails we found. I found a mountain bike kind of cut in with a jump, so we're just going to use it's really well trod in. And then at the top of the hill, there's actually a fairway. One of the fairway connections between the disc golf course has already been raked in, and so we can just use that too. So it's about 800 feet of rake in.
Okay. Okay. And Mia, this is my question is, we're darn sure that we're off the property owner's land, right?
So the GPS did not work. My handheld GPS did not work. I shot the points going up and I shot the exact same points going down to see how accurate, and I got two completely different lines. So my handheld GPS is not accurate. So I used a tape measure, a topo map, and a compass, which I've been doing for years. That's what I do. I rarely use trails. I usually get sent out to places with a compass and a map and a topo. So that's how it's been confirmed. And I'm 95% confident it is not on his property at all. If you just today, this is new, Trails Committee members. I was someone reached out to me from CRMPC, Central Mass Regional Planning Coalition Commission. They have they got a Trimble unit. Is that right? It's a nice surveying GPS, Justin, you'd know. And they are willing to do one trail per town. So as soon as I got the email, I just picked up the phone and called her. Her name's Danielle. And I said, I said, we have a trail, but would you be willing to come out? And while you're mapping the trail, would you work with me to also confirm that we're not on this private property? And she said she would. And we have a date set for August 27th. It's a draft date. We can cancel it. But if you want a little bit more confirmation, we could use her nice GPS unit and really confirm that the location is off the private property. And the next level up would be to hire a surveyor. So it's up to you.
Yeah, I'd like to avoid that if we can. Bob Mihalik, what were your plans in terms of cutting that trail in time-wise?
If the commission approves tonight, I think we can gather some volunteers this weekend and get out there. It should be a nice weekend weather-wise, and I probably get it, if not entirely done,
Yep.
at least half, 75% of it done.
Yep.
This Saturday and Sunday.
Mia, if you're 95% certain that we're good, we should maybe just go ahead with the clearing, and there's a 5% risk that we have to move stuff out, you know? If that's my view, is move it and do them both. Do simultaneous, get the trail cut in, and then in a couple of weeks, do the GPS shoot. Well, Tom, what do you think? What's your opinion? Are we living dangerously with that approach, or?
No, I'm good with it. I'm still focused on if we get one trail for free to map, is this the one we want to do?
Good point.
Maybe we could get another one out of her, because they're right now they're promising each town at least one, but because I said, are we limited to one? And they said, well, we want to make sure we give everybody at least one, but if other people don't use it or they have more time with their unit, we could get some, because that's the next conversation. Pisgah, we do need to get some mapping out there.
Okay.
How long is that offer for, Mia? Is that like until the end of 2020 or?
They're not sure how long they're going to have it for. They just got cleared to use it. They took their training 2 weeks ago, and they just started the program today. They just emailed today.
Yeah, I don't know if my opinion counts, but I would think we might want to save it for maybe something up at Pisgah or something that's really disputed. But that's purely my opinion. So.
Kelly Marston has joined us. Kelly, you're on mute.
Hi.
Hi, Kelly. Thank you.
I'm at the back of the ice cream shop right now. That's why it's a little crazy here.
Okay. All right. All right. Fair enough. Mia, those are good points. I mean, if we want to save our bullets there for the, for a better usage on Pisgah, fine. In this case, we just go ahead and put the trail in and go with your 95% confidence level. Unless you want to think you can give this person and you can become friends with them, they give us a second chance.
You can trust me. I used to put in water mains with tape measures and compasses. There's a lot of water main in Falmouth that was never surveyed. That's encouraging.
Put in with,
yeah, okay. A lot of Falmouth.
All right. Diane, what do you think?
I think this is an easy one to do for Mia. And we really do need to focus more on what's happening up on Mount Pisgah, apparently, where we have people aiming to destroy things.
Okay, fair enough. Justin, you good?
Is there somewhere?
Justin, you there?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Okay. Could I get a vote to approve the new location and to start work on it?
You can. Kelly Marston, you're going to vote. Have you heard enough to be able to vote, or you want to wait till the next discussion point?
I feel like I've heard enough. I was popping in and out. I think I like where the trail is.
Okay, good. Good. We're going to roll call vote then. Diane Goldner.
Yes.
Todd Helwig.
Yes.
Justin Dufresne.
Yes. Kelly
Marston.
Yes.
And I also will vote yes for the new Edmonds Trail reroute.
Before we move on, I do want to share that we had a work day 2 weeks ago with members of Seaway International. And Brian, do you want to tell them about it, or do you want me to do it?
I mean, you can.
It's very good news. So Brian and I met on site with about 15 kids and like 6 or 7 adults. We broke into 3 groups. We left the first group down by the parking lot to fix those 2 fairways there. Brian took a group up the Summit Trail. I took a group up the Goldfinch Trail, and we pretty much covered the whole hill. The main goal was to remove all of the infrastructure left, which was poles, buckets, flagging. Every fairway was connected with paths that were lined with logs, and then they were cut wood stacked along the fairways, and all that was broken up.
Good.
And the entire hill was completed in a couple, like probably 3 hours. It was a great project. So
All of the equipment was gone, I bet. There were no holes, were there? Still
no,
there?
we had to pull it all out.
Baskets were there?
They were there.
baskets
So it's a fence post with an inverted 5-gallon bucket on it.
Right.
And I had started to pull them out, but I can only carry, and wooden signs. I just couldn't carry. So the kids, with all our hands, we were able to get everything out.
So the disc golf folks didn't take care of that stuff.
The weekend after your first meeting where you asked, because I think there was a Wednesday, I went back on Monday, the following Monday, and the buckets and poles right at the base there, right at the front of the senior center, there were some buckets
Right.
and poles. Those had been removed right away. And then I visited every week, and no more were moved. I was slowly removing them as I could.
Where are they now?
I have them.
Okay.
I know them, so if they want them back, I can give them back. We thought of another use for them, didn't we, Trails Committee? For the buckets and fence posts.
I
Oh,
don't-
blocking off maybe using them to block off the private property on Edmund Hill temporarily. Just
Oh, okay.
Sink
So
a fence
fine.
post and put a laminated sign that says, private property trail goes this way. Just a temporary thing.
Okay. All right. I think we're good. Bob, good luck this weekend. There is going to be good weather. So
Thank you.
excellent. Excellent. Okay. You can stick around. You and Brian and Cheryl can stick around or take off, whatever you'd like to do.
Oh yeah, I'd like to stay tuned for the Mount Pisgah update.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's go to the Eagle Scout project next, though. What happened?
Oh, I stopped sharing Edmund Hill. Is that okay? Can you see us?
I can see nothing.
Uh-oh.
Anybody else?
I can see you.
Yeah, I can see all you
I
guys.
see everyone's faces.
Yeah.
Yeah, all I see is I just see a big Zoom item here.
Chief Parenti, are you there?
No, I'm hiding. Yeah. Did you minimize your application somehow?
I don't see it minimized.
Greg, try a different window. Zoom, the big Zoom is usually in one window, and then the actual Zoom webinar pops up in a different one.
Yeah, no, I've got the first window is the actual town. It's in me is email. Then I got post attendee Zoom.
Oh, you
No,
didn't you
okay.
get bumped?
No. The post attendee Zoom is just with the website. That's fine. Kelly's right. There should be 2 windows. One that is a client, and the other one that is actually the Zoom itself.
Done.
You got it?
Yep.
Okay.
Kelly, go back to your ice cream store now. Thank you. You've added value tonight. We're good. Okay. Eagle Scout project next on the agenda here, and that is Declan Matheson, and I see him. I want to promote you to panelist, Declan. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
I think it's Declan.
Declan Math, and
Hello?
There he is. Can you see us all?
Yep. I'm Declan Matheson, Troop 182 Holden, and I need permission to do my Eagle Scout project in Mount Pisgah. And I have a presentation all set up. Let's see if I can pull this up. Work.
You know, Mia, right away, and Chief Leibner, please don't take this as an affront, but I'm guessing right away that Declan becomes our Zoom master right away, just because of his age and experience with the project.
That's correct.
Okay. I can't get it working. Okay.
What are you trying to share? A PowerPoint?
Yeah, it's just a PowerPoint presentation I had all set up and
Okay. Open the PowerPoint and start it like you were running it.
yep.
Then go at the very bottom, go to share screen. You see that?
No.
Okay, share screen is, so if you hit the escape button, maybe it should minimize your PowerPoint.
Uh-huh.
Okay, now you're back into the Zoom screen, right?
Right.
See where it says share screen at the bottom?
Yes. Okay.
Okay, click on that.
Okay.
And
Thank
then,
you.
And then click on the PowerPoint.
Yes. So now, is that working? Can you see this?
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right. So it's the Menster Bridge Eagle project. And so the plan is just to build a little wooden walkway bridge over this. It's about 60-foot stretch on the Menster Trail up to Mount Pisgah. And it's right here in this picture, you can see. So that's the thing, that's the plan. Because in the spring it gets all muddy, and after rainfall it's flooded with water. I've been communicating with Mia, Brian, and Bob about this project for like the while I've been planning it out. So that's the gist of it. And I obviously needed your approval before I could get anything done with it.
So Declan, from this picture, where would the bridge start and stop? Would it,
so it starts about with this pink.
Yep.
To where I'm standing. No. Yes.
down to where you're pointing?
It's a bit hard to tell from this picture, I think, but there's a little dip in the trail where it goes from a high point and then a dip, and it's basically just going to be flat so that the dip doesn't happen.
I see it. So it roughly starts from where that yellow strip is on the tree, 60 feet out over all the water and the mud. That
Yes.
side. Okay.
Yes.
Good.
Okay.
What about materials?
All right, so materials I have here, this is just a spreadsheet of all the materials we have. And then this is the layout that we will be building the bridge with. So like the post spikes are here, those are the purple things on the side.
Yeah.
And then each of the ones down the middle are the stringers. So, and then we'll just lay the boards across. And then this bridge here is a similar bridge down the trail that I believe was another Eagle Scout project. So we will be modeling it after that one.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, here's another view of the trail where it's going to be built. I think that gives it a better look.
So it looks like it needs it.
Yeah. Okay, so these pictures kind of back to back. This is one end where it will start, and then this is where it will end. So it will kind of go over all this in the middle, which is all mud and water and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so.
Greg, can I comment?
Yes, please do.
Greg, I just want to say that I did the site survey with Declan, and we measured it out with a tape measure. There's a very apparent low spot that it's really goes point to point from a tree 60 feet out. So although the picture does not give a super perfect indication of exactly where it lands, once we're out on the trail, it is quite apparent.
Okay.
Yeah.
How low that area is.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it looks mucky anyway, at the very least,
Yeah.
right? So it's, yeah, good.
It was a complete lake early season, and there was a whole bunch of offshoot go-around trails that people had hiked in to avoid walking through the lake.
Yeah, so that's a big thing we want to. Brian showed me the herd path that was made around it, and that just completely ruins the trail.
Where are you going to get your resources from, your less than 10 people?
So, what do you mean? What? Can you repeat the question?
It says you're going to do all this work by yourself. You're going to have some help.
No, I'm going to get most of my troop members will come and help me, and then I have a few just friends and family members that also
Great.
agreed to come out.
Great, good.
Right now, the dates we're looking at are the 19th and the 26th.
Mhm.
Depending on how many people we get, I don't know if I think the 19th might be sufficient, but I want to put the 26th on there just in case.
Yeah, you got weather, you know, weather's a variable
Yeah,
too.
just in case of weather or something.
Okay.
Okay.
Declan, that's August 19th and 26th of August?
September.
Okay.
Because I still need to get more council approval from my troop itself.
Okay.
And materials to do the project with.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And
What about
just, oh, sorry, George.
No.
Right.
What about the funding? What's the funding mechanism, Declan?
I was going to ask you guys if you would consider funding it for me.
Ah, there it is. Okay.
So Greg, that's what I was going to comment on, just to let the Conservation Commission know that we do have resources funded through the Community Preservation Act for trail maintenance. Historically, we have funded these sorts of projects with Eagle Scouts where they provide the organization and the labor, and then we provide the materials. So there's a bit of a precedent for it. This is sort of towards the upper end of some of the things that we funded, but in general, it's consistent with a trail bridge of this size.
Yep. Yep. And to me, what's our funding situation? Can we throw anything into the pot, or do we want to throw into the pot, or?
It's completely up to you. You know, as we can start that during the Pisgah conversation. We're trying to figure out our funding because, you know, we voted for the reward and the purchase of the sign,
Right.
and we're looking at throwing some other money at it. I was
Right.
trying to get to it. I really don't know. We do have like $70,000 in an account that we were going to maybe treat Bartlett Pond with, but really trying to figure out if there's any limitations on that spending.
Okay. Bob, what's your account looking like?
We were awarded $30,000 approximately 2 years ago, and I think we've spent roughly 10 to 15,000 on new kiosks and trail signs. So probably in the $15,000 to $20,000 range.
Let me grab something.
So while we're waiting for me, Declan, I can just let you know that we can, with social distancing guidelines and stuff, we can also solicit some help from Trails Committee volunteers.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. So what I was thinking with this, but what I was thinking was, if we have 10 people at each end of the bridge, and then 10 in the middle, we can kind of have them work inward, and then we would be meeting the 10-person requirement that the state mandates, as well as having enough people to get the bridge up and running in a good amount of time.
Okay. Mia, you're back.
I'm back. I didn't find what I was looking for. I was hoping to see if I could see what we do have like a land management, but I think it's only $1,000. It's usually for tree removal.
Yeah. All right, hang on. We've had a need for that.
Yeah, that's gone.
All right. Todd or Diane or Kelly or Justin, do you have any burning thoughts about this, about wanting to join fund or not fund, or let Bob take care of it? Any thoughts on there?
My only thought was, it seems like a good use for the CPC funds that have already been allocated.
Yep. Okay. Any other comments?
If we use them all up, it's a good grounds for reapplying for more this year,
CPC,
this
right,
October.
Right. And we do, as you said earlier, Mia, too, we do have some other expenditures coming up here from the conservation side, so. Okay,
I just have a question. Maybe the trails guys know pretty good, but the decking that you usually use for these, I know I've done a couple of them with my company, and a lot of times we'll use the composite that has like a non-slip kind of like traction on the top of it. Is that something that you guys would recommend for this versus just wood? I know sometimes in the woods it just gets slick and stuff over time. So just wondering, it could add a little bit of cost, but seems to help with the slipping and just getting wet and stuff being in the woods out there. But wasn't sure if you guys have had experience with that.
Yeah, I don't think we've tried that on any projects yet, but that's definitely an issue when that pressure treated lumber is out there for a few years and gets some moisture on it. It can be slippery. I'm not sure the cost difference though, how much.
I don't know either. I wonder if maybe Declan wants to take a look at that or something too. I just know with a 60-foot long span, it could be kind of a long, slippery bridge. And if it does get slick over time, people are going to start walking around it anyways too. But
you're talking like tracks?
yeah, it's like a Trex material, but it's got just a little bit of like a stick on the, it just allows your foot to kind of stick. It's like a non-slip Trex basically that holds up pretty good over time. And I know just doesn't get the moss and kind of the moisture on it that some of those decking boards can over time.
Composite deck boards?
Yeah. Well, the
Trex.
composite ones need more support underneath.
Okay.
So that would be,
From the decks or the steps that I built with the Trex decks, it was 3 times the cost. They were awesome, but it was 3 times the cost.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, keep it wood. I mean, I like the natural look of the wood out there too. So I'm kind of like torn, but I know that that they can get a little slick over time, but sure it'll be fine.
I wonder what they did over on Boundary Street, because they put in a whole boardwalk much longer than this. And they had some railings with it as well. I don't know what kind of wood they used or what.
I've seen that one. That one looks like regular wood out there, just regular normal pressure treated.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be okay with that. Just a question, I guess. I know that stuff gets pricey though, for sure.
Yeah, it does 3
I wonder,
times.
can you get that paint? You know how they have paint for the garage floors that is like, it has almost like sand in it?
There's a little grit to it. I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, I wonder if you can get a paint that's designed for wood and not concrete that has that grit in it, and you can put it over the pressure treated wood.
Another option. So third option would be a sign that says slippery when wet.
There you go. That's
So-
that's a cheaper option.
Okay. Do we have to vote this, Mia, or is this just, this is an informal discussion, I believe, isn't it?
No, he does need permission
He does
to
need
move
permission,
forward
right.
on the project.
It probably needs some sort of written document, a letter.
There's no wetlands, which is good. So no permit. Declan, do you need them to sign anything or submit any letter or anything?
yes.
Do you have a form we need to fill out? Could you email it to us, or is it a letter?
Yes, I can email you the form. Should I do that now or?
Yep, email that to me and I'll forward it. We usually have Greg sign them as the chairman.
Okay.
And then you just need to vote to give him permission to do work on your property.
Okay, yes.
Okay. We need to vote. We need a motion.
Move to approve the project.
Okay.
We will take a vote. Diane Goldner,
Yes.
Todd Helwig,
Yes.
Justin Dufresne,
Yes.
Kelly Marston,
Yes.
and I also will vote yes. Good luck, Declan.
Okay, well, thank
Good
you all so
project.
much for voting yes and just listening to me tonight. I'm very
Nice presentation you had too. Very crisp and to the point. Good stuff.
All right. Yeah, I know. My mom's on the conservation committee and she's always going on about people going on too long about stuff. So
Take those 12 slides and put up one. There you
I
go.
like your mom.
Excellent, excellent, super. All right. Send
right.
what you need to me, and we'll turn that around for you as fast as we can. And good luck. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, Declan.
Good night.
Good night. Mount Pisgah Conservation Area. I take it that Bob and Brian want to hang around for this too.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let me see what we have.
Liz might be Liz Newland.
Liz, I will add to a panelist.
I hope we can ask her.
Well, we'll find out. I think that's it. Okay. Liz, you're added, but you're on mute. Okay, there she is.
Hi.
Are you the right person to be here, Liz?
Hi, I'm multitasking. Sorry about that.
Are you the right person to be here?
No, it's Mia, it's Liz from Garden Keep.
Oh, hi, Liz.
Yeah, and I got back home and I signed in too late to hear about John's stuff. So I'm interested in trail stuff. So I was.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to demote you then.
You can still listen. Don't worry.
Don't take it. Don't take it. Don't take it personally.
Thanks for letting me hang.
All right. Give me a second here. Got it. All right. We're all here. Okay, about Pisgah. A lot of discussions last month, a lot of action items, Mia, a lot of things taking place.
Yeah.
According to the update here. Where do you want to start? Trail inventory?
Sure. So I did not get the data from the heat map. That gentleman is traveling still. But I did make, can you see the heat map?
Yep.
This is from Strava, and this shows use. So I downloaded it as an image and I added our labels. I labeled our trails. Can you see my mouse on here?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So you can see our loop here, our Menser Trail. This is Sparrow coming in. And this is Berlin Road. Oops. Goodness gracious, too many clicks. So I think you'll see that the biggest rogue trail here is we've got this connector that goes from the loop up to Sparrow. And then again, on Sparrow, this is now Davidian property into Fish and Wildlife property here. This jumble of trails, this is all Fish and Wildlife property. So these are not really mapped right now. We did reach out to Dan Stimson from SVT and Liz Newland, Berlin Concom, SVT. And once we determine what we want, we're all going to work together to make a new comprehensive map. This is the current SVT comprehensive map. And it's really going to show ownership, use, allowed uses, accurate trails. So that's the long term that we're going to do once you all decide. I tried to share this with Trails last night or Monday night at their meeting. Bob, you probably saw like a preview pane of it because my computer just froze. It just completely froze and I could only hear them. They couldn't hear me and my computer froze on this image. So we never got to have this conversation with Trails. So I'm glad they're here tonight. I don't really see many. I mean, you see some little illicit nubs. This is mostly Fish and Wildlife property though. I think the biggest one to call out is really this loop connector that there's two here. And so maybe I would recommend, and we can see what Trails Committee has to say about this, but bringing this into fruit, this is a real trail. And it's a pretty trail. It's very established. It's been there, according to Tom, it's been there for decades. Maybe closing this little connector off. I think people get turned around up here. This, we could post a sign that says something like leads to private property right here. And obviously people are going to keep using it. It's like the brightest thing on the whole map. The brighter it is, the more used it is. And then up in Berlin, there was a whole bunch more.
Okay.
Mia,
Yes.
did Fish and Wildlife want some of those convoluted trails decommissioned, so to speak?
They don't want anything done. They don't want them on the map. They don't want, people are allowed to walk, but they just not maintained. If a tree falls, leave it there.
Okay.
So we shouldn't be maintaining any of these. We own this one, South Overlook down to Vernal Pool, Fisher, but this is Fish and Wildlife in here. And a lot
So
of people use apps, and these are on the apps.
The purpose of this exercise, Mia, is just what? Just to get a good inventory of which trails and who owns them
Mhm.
and who would
People-
manage them.
You could see this spaghetti. People are
Yep.
getting turned around down here.
Yep.
Even I will take Sparrow up, or if I take this connector up, I end up on here, and there's 100 ways to get there. It's like going to the mall in Worcester. There's 100 ways to get there. So I do recommend either getting this connection either with the fork or without the fork on the map, and posting that this leads to private property, because this is such an established trail that I think people are ending up on it and they don't know where they are. And this trail does not have a name, and it shows up on some maps and some not. Our maps, it does not show up because it's private property. But like all trails, it's there without a name.
Okay.
So,
Anything more on the trail inventory? It's in process.
well, I think we can make it. There's also right over here. Do you see this South Overlook? That's the trail that is sort of spilling over the front of the South Overlook. I think that needs to be permanently closed. That's the very steep slope with the shrub oak. So people are using it. It's been closed for some time. I closed it in the spring. I aggressively closed it in the spring, and it hasn't been reopened yet. Just when we start talking about temporary signage, about closing things off, Brian and Bob, I'd like to know your opinion about this trail here. If you think that's something that should be included on the maps, if we should include all of it, or if we should close off the second fork.
I haven't been out there in a while. I don't know if Brian has more current information.
I mean, the part of the loop connector that shows brighter on the heat map, I believe that's the trail that's been there for years.
Oh, we lost.
And I would say that trail is so, it doesn't look illicit at all. It looks like it's been there forever. It's got a ton of use. So I would say that we would be best to, promote that to legitimate status, and then close off the smaller, the other smaller one that sees less use. So bring it down to one connector trail off the loop, and make it real.
Yeah, that might serve the role too of if you see how bright that initial sketch of the Menzner Trail is, which by the way is where Declan's Bridge will go. But maybe naming and sort of quote legitimizing that trail off the loop could take some of the pressure off the Menzner Trail, which in some places is 20 feet wide and resembles a fairly wide dirt road more so than a trail. Maybe encouraging people go into the loop and take that spur trail to get into the area instead of 98% of the people going on the Menzner Trail.
Todd, you're up there quite a bit. Do you ever get over to the loop?
Yeah, I majored in geography in college, and I find this thing amazing that I'm looking at right now. How did they do this?
You join Strava, and then it basically, you give them permission to use your phone, and they use your data. They reach out to athletes, runners, mountain bikers, and you begin one, and you kind of log where you go.
I know the one that goes across Davidian. I can't say that I'm familiar with that the connector from the loop. I know that you can get from the Davidian, the Bandit Trail over the Davidians over to the loop where they did all that nice stonework. But I can't say I specifically know what that connector is. But I kind of agree. I mean, if I wouldn't be opposed to keeping it, it's not going to go away anyway.
It's lovely. It's got some wetlands in there. That's where mosquito land. I was talking to Brian and Bob. Someone keeps damming up. Tom asked me to break up some stonework up there, and I've been breaking it up, and people have been increasingly redoing it. I don't know if I told the commission this, that the boulders they were placing were getting bigger, and so I just went crazy, rolled all the boulders downhill, and they took the boulders I rolled downhill and carried them back uphill and replace them. I give up, they win. But there is a part on that loop connector where someone has dammed up a wet area and made like almost like a little ornamental pond, and it's full of mosquito larvae. You walk into a net of mosquitoes when you get there. So I used our field supply money and I bought a new crowbar, and I'm going to go break it apart again. So it's just going to be part of my hike. I'll be the creepy lady with the crowbar in the woods. So
avoid at all costs. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll, if you want to think about it, or we can just make the determination tonight that we're going to keep this section of the loop. Maybe post. We have it's a little circle. It's also been said if we do post anything, it should say like NCC, like Northborough Conservation Commission. Let people know that the land managers are the one doing the work. So maybe I could design. I know we're reluctant to put signs up there, but just something small that says Northborough Conservation Commission, not a trail, or Northborough Conservation Commission leads to private property, something small and high up. Or do you want to not sign this at all and just leave it, the Davidian one?
Well, are you waiting for more information from Berlin? I mean, should we do this all as one thing?
No, they're going to do their own. They're going to submit their own information to SVT.
And we're not allowed to,
You mean like work on signs together?
yeah.
Yeah, I could find out what signs they use.
I mean, they're connected. Why aren't we talking to them? I'm not saying that you haven't tried.
Yeah.
About getting a uniform solution to all of this, because a lot of them are coming in from the Berlin side.
You mean the hikers, so that the mapping is all one?
Well, the mountain bikers is what I was referring to. But
oh, okay. So I can invite them again to the September 21st meeting, but I found the consensus from last month's meeting is that what they're doing is working, that they don't seem to have as much of a problem as we do. They had the one incident and they addressed it, and it hasn't been reopened.
Yeah.
Okay.
Berlin is a little different than Northborough. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, so 20 years ago.
Yeah.
They've armored the trails, more or less. So they've armored the entrance.
Yeah. There's fewer people too.
Any action items here, Mia, on the trail inventory?
So we have to decide that if we want to move forward in drafting a map, if we want to have CMRPC help us with the map, just send data out to Dan. Dan may have access to this heat data, and we can just ask him to use certain lines.
So is SVT going to update? Are they going to prepare a plan for our review?
Yes, we'll work with them, and they're going to update this. Can you see
But they're only going to update it with information that we give them.
Yep, we're going to say, add this, take this out.
Okay. All right. So then are we at a point where we need to give them information, or are we at a point where we can get a draft plan from them that we can then pick and choose from?
So what I'm hearing so far is we want to include this connector on this map, and that's the only change we're adding so far.
Agreed.
All right. Do we want to give it a name, a loop connector, or the Greg Young Trail?
I don't know,
Mihalik's
Bob,
Way.
what's the Trails Committee think, Bob? I mean, what do you? Thank
Sorry,
you.
I was muted there. It's always been a bit unclear to me, naming conventions. Maybe if there's for example, behind Algonquin Regional High School, there's the Stirrup Brook Trail, which that's a nice name. I don't know if, Hop Brook Trail, perhaps if the Hop Brook is near there at Mount Pisgah. Maybe some geological feature. I think we were in there one time. There were some owls hooting at us. So that might be the way to go, is sort of a natural feature type name to it.
I don't think we need to agree on a name tonight, do we?
Nope.
No. Mia, why don't you take that and maybe work with the Trails Committee, come up with a name and
Sure.
go from there. Okay. Moving on. The reward poster progress.
So I checked with a town accountant to just make sure we could pay out the reward. And
Yep.
he said he's not sure if that's an allowable expense. So it's on hold for now. We're putting a request into town council just to make sure that we're covered.
Bounty.
Yeah.
I love it.
Bounty. We can do it. We can issue bounties, can't we? Just change what we call it. All right. So town council has it, huh?
Yes.
So we might get an answer this year.
No.
No, I was being optimistic, Todd. I know. I know.
All right. No.
All right.
I
All
hate it
right.
when it goes to town council.
All right. Hunting policies and regulations.
So Chief Liver's on here too. Liz Newland from Fish and Wildlife worked with Chief Liver and Lieutenant Galvin and I to come up with a new wording. When you go to the Conservation Commission website, there's a tab that says, "Where can I hunt in
Yep.
Northborough?" That's actually a link from the police department page. And so
Okay.
Liz worked with Chief Liver to rewrite that. And so I can pull that up. I think I have it here. Hang on one second. Oh, I do not. Let me pull it up. We also did a map. I'm going to pull that up first. Thanks for being patient. Okay. Can you see this map?
Yes.
WMA is the wildlife management area owned by Fish and Wildlife. That's up on Pisgah. You're looking at a map of Pisgah. The yellow are the trails up there. This map is not meant to be comprehensive. This is a temporary map. The blue WCE is the wildlife conservation easement. So Andrew Silver, the Conservation Commission purchased this property from Andrew Silver in 2009. And it was purchased with CPC funds, so it had to have a conservation restriction placed upon it as one of the requirements of spending that money. The Fish and Wildlife holds that conservation restriction. They haven't really done much monitoring, as far as I know, in my stints here until last year, where they did a full inspection. We did a walkthrough, and we reviewed the conservation restriction. The restriction expressly states that hunting is allowed. We do have a local bylaw that no hunting is allowed within 500 feet of a trail. And you can see there are some trails, but there is this southwest corner, basically where my cursor is right now. It is 500 feet from trails, and hunting is technically allowed there. It's come up every year. Hunters call our office, and Fred and I let them know the policy, which I'm going to share with you, our hunting policy. Let me go back. Oop, those are the seasons. This is our official hunting policy that was approved in 2000. It's allowed with permission, residents only, limited to 2 permits per day, permit for a specific day. You must apply 7 days in advance. No individual may apply for more than 5 permits. You have to provide proof of a firearm safety course, Monday through Friday only, bow and shotgun only, deer only, and no hunting permitted within 500 feet of a trail. The last portion of this is what we have posted on the police website. Let me pull that up. It's going to load in just a second. This is what's currently on the police website, which shows our policy down below. There's a link to the map. Oops.
Mm-hmm.
That map. And that's a temporary. Liz is Fish and Wildlife. She holds a restriction.
Okay.
She's technically enforcing on us. She is the agency that makes sure that we follow the rules. So she's not really enforcing us. Right now, she's reminding us. She's reminding of us of this restriction and how we need to follow it. And so that's where we revised this wording and posted the temporary map. And then that long-term Pisgah map from Dan Stimson and SVT will show a little bit more elaborately what's allowed in what area. So where we're stuck and what Liz has asked us to address is that right now a resident needs a permit to hunt on our property. There is no permit. It doesn't exist. Because whenever people call, we just tell them there really isn't a place. Go ahead and hunt on the Fish and Wildlife property with your state permit. And there isn't really a Northborough owned place. And Liz is saying technically there is a place. Tom did write in. I asked for his opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Tom is a hunter. He hunts up on Pisgah. And he says, there is no permit for hunting. There is no need. The way the setback from the trails was adopted, there is only a very little spot that could be hunted. I believe there was he says 500-foot setback from all trails. So ultimately, even if we gave someone permission, they would have nowhere to go. Since we don't post it as hunting by permission, which is the requirement of the entire town of Northborough, people go and hunt there anyways, just like people going and cutting trees and trails. So, Tom is kind of saying what's working is working. But Liz is asking us to either have a permit or not require a permit.
Okay.
And then Chief Liver's here to give his opinion to it. I mean, he's the one who's going to have to deal with hunters in the woods. So,
all right, let's start with that, Chief.
Oh, and obviously that's why we put it on our website quite a while ago, because every fall we get people calling here wanting to know where they can hunt in Northborough, and obviously the answer is basically nowhere, except for private property with written permission of the landowner, and of course with the Pisgah Conservation Area with permission from the Conservation Commission. It's a little burdensome for a process to get a permit. It almost makes it somewhat impossible, which I think could cause a problem. If you're going to require a permit, it should be something that obviously could be delegated to Mia. So someone came into the office looking for it, so we could actually have some reasonable access to it. I don't have an issue with permits, to be honest with you. At least we have an idea of how many, I guess, law-abiding hunters or residents will come in and go hunting up there. Personally, I'm not a hunter. I probably won't make a fan out of some of them, but Northborough's starting to get to the point where it's being built up enough that bullets don't stop. And you always hear that story about, I missed that big buck. Well, where'd that bullet go? And they travel far more than 500 feet. Most of them are traveling. Some of them are like that, 3,000 feet per second, depending on a shotgun, clearly not, but a rifle. My fear is stray rounds and ricochets off of trees and rocks, and the hunters that are up there. I just think it's a bad idea.
Chief, what do you what's your gut of what percent of the hunters up there actually have applied for permits versus who are up there just?
No one ever, to the best of my knowledge, no one's ever been issued a permit.
Okay. How about the ones that call asking for, I'm going to hunt Northborough tomorrow. Can I hunt Northborough tomorrow?
We tell them they can't.
Okay.
Unless they get permission. Actually, what we do now is refer them to the website.
Yeah.
Instead of, we tell the dispatches to refer them to the website. So.
Mia, do we have any sort of liability here? I hate to bring town council in again, but do we have liability here that if we didn't have some sort of process in place and there were to be some incident up there that took place on Northborough property, that we'd be exposing the town?
I mean, it already is, you know, we already do allow hunting up there and the state allows hunting up there. So there's hunting up there. It's already happening. When we do our CR inspections, there's hunting stands on private properties pointing into our land. Maybe, you know, I hate signage, but maybe something in the kiosk. And that's what when Fish and Wildlife posts, this is a wildlife management area, they're saying there's hunting here. Maybe we can make that a little more clear in our kiosk. And I talked to Fred about the historical too. And I think Diane may have reached out to Sue Brackett, the agent before me. Fred said that the commission did put up a sign in the kiosk once that said something about hikers and joggers and dog walkers, be aware that hunting is allowed on this property, that kind of thing. And people should be wearing orange. I always wear orange. Diane, were you able to reach Sue?
Yeah, we had a nice conversation last night, and then I called Fred this morning with my bits of information, which we've already expounded on. I think even back when we first started talking about this, which is when Jeff Amberson was on the committee, that I was not in favor of hunting up there because of the distances. The fact that there are now quite a few more houses than before. And I don't know, and a lot of people, of course, want to walk their dogs and stuff. So I think that's one of the things that maybe over time we ought to look at it again and see what we can do to keep it lower key, maybe not quite so easy to get to. Not that this is easy, but make it a little more difficult.
I mean, I was thinking about this originally. I thought, you know, having a permit might be difficult to put in place. Could it be something as simple as a phone call to you and you keep a log?
I think we'd have to do administrative because they couldn't wait for the monthly meeting.
Right. Maybe that's it. They just make a phone call to the conservation agent, say when they want to go up there, give us their name, contact number.
And right now we have that they have to provide proof of a firearm safety course. I think they should also have a state hunting license. They should provide proof of a state hunting license.
All right, I am confused as to why we're having this conversation. I need to go back. Why are we doing this?
Liz Newland asked us to address the fact that we require a permit, that hunting is under the conservation restriction on that WCE land. We are supposed to be allowing hunting. And right now our policy is that we do allow hunting with a permit, but there is no permit. It doesn't exist. And Liz asked us to address that.
What does she want us to address?
She is gone, by the way.
Oh, that's a different Liz.
Okay.
Yeah, the Fish and Wildlife says that our policies do not allow for hunting because our policies say you need a permit. But if someone were to call and say, okay, I'd like that permit, we don't have a permit. It doesn't exist.
A permit could just be conservation letterhead granting a person authorization to hunt. It's not, I don't know if that doesn't have to be a specific form.
Yeah.
As far as a permit goes, where it's limited to 2 people a day, you know, if we get called that there's multiple hunters up there, the person with the permit gets to stay and those that don't go. It's like the field use permits down at Ellsworth McAfee Park. When there's a debate over who gets the soccer field, it's he or she who has the permit for the use of the field.
Sure. Sure.
So would that solve the problem?
Yeah.
Right, Mia, is if we can keep the permit language and the permit is just defined as someone calling you when they present this information.
Yeah, and I fill out a form that just says, and they have to present their firearm safety course, and I'd like them to also have a state hunting license.
The firearm safety course proof would be the LTC, right?
If they have an LTC, they've taken the state's basic firearm safety course, but they're also basic hunter safety courses. But I would say that if they've got an LTC or an FID, that
Yeah, they've
taken a safety course.
Okay.
Okay, so they can present an LTC or an FID. Should I even ask for their state hunting license, that they have a license? Because they apply this for those annually, right?
I mean, any hunter that's going to go up hunting is going to have a hunter's license. Going up there without one, and they subjecting themselves to fines and arrests. And
Yeah, they're breaking state law. Yeah. Okay, so I don't need them to present it.
And we can't, and I think your point is we can't ban hunting because that's the way we acquired the property, right?
That's right.
We acquired the property. We had to have Fish and Wildlife hold to restrict. We had to have somebody hold it. They agreed to hold it. This was a condition, so now we got to live with it.
Yes.
All right. So I'm okay with what was Tom's position again?
Tom was everything's
no
fine.
license.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's almost what we're coming to, isn't it? That permit just simply means you issue it.
Yeah, we've brought it up before. Every year I say, hey, someone's looking for permit. And you're like, we've never had a permit. We don't need one. But now the state is calling us out and saying, you do need a permit.
For me, I just want to walk through the process here we're talking about. So I want to go hunting on Pisgah. I call you tomorrow and say, I want to go hunting on Pisgah. And you ask me who I am, where I live, what my LTC number is, what my license number is, my hunting license number, and then you send me a letter.
Mm-hmm. And you have to apply 7 days in advance.
Okay.
For a specific day as well. So we have to have a form they can fill out. Name, address, contact information, 7 days in advance, and then proof of their LTC, FID, and license number.
You're going to call you. You're going to send them a form. They're going to fill it out, send it back to you.
I could just stamp it approved and copy it back. I have an approved stamp.
Mr. Chair, if I may. We have numerous forms on our website that people can fill out. They can actually file a complete police report on that, and it gets forwarded by email to notification. And you can just pull that up and you can approve it online. And there's places for people to attach external documents, so they can scan it or email it to that. I'm sure that, well, I don't want to speak for MIS, but one of my detectives here is very computer savvy, and he developed all of our online forms. And it's not hard to do. They wouldn't have to come in. They could fill it out online. They could, whatever forms you wanted, they could attach. You'd get notification that there was a form waiting, and you can process it from there.
So it would come off your website.
We could do that. We could, or conservation's website, whatever.
We could link to it from our website
Yeah,
too, just
sure.
like we do now. And then the police could get a copy as well.
Yeah, or if you wanted them, they could apply for it. Actually, you could put it on any town website, the town's main website, and have it. The forward would go to conservation, so
That
it wouldn't
sounds like
they wouldn't have to hunt for it.
We're picking, so to speak, yes. So we're piggybacking off of something that works already.
Yes.
Fine. So is the plan then that Mia speaks to your contact, chief?
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
How many licenses do you think there would go out in a given year?
What's that, Dan? I couldn't hear you too well.
How many licenses would be given out in any time frame, say from September to December?
I get
this
6
year?
to 8 calls a year.
So 6 to 8 calls a year is what Mia's hearing.
Okay,
I would
so-
say we probably get that many emails a year over here from people asking where to hunt, as well as phone calls.
So somewhere around 20 high end.
At least.
At this point.
Okay.
Okay. We got a plan.
Okay.
That seem
Sounds
reasonable
good.
to the commission? Todd, is that sitting good with you and Justin?
Yep, sounds good to me.
Okay. I think Kelly has left. Kelly, you okay with that?
I'm still here. Yep, that's good with me.
It's good.
Okay.
Sound good for you, Diane?
Yes.
Okay. Moving on. Moving on, cost estimates.
Okay. Trail cameras. Chief Liver and I spoke about the cost to have the live cameras with the Wi-Fi connection, and they have to have their own Verizon, wireless account. it's like $900 a year. And then I was reaching out about ATV questions. There's a lot of information from the Maine ATV Task Force, which is a group of land managers through Maine, forest managers, park rangers, all sorts of people. And they responded, and I got to have a nice phone conversation with their vice president. And he said they use the Cabela $99 camera, and it's the best thing out there. And it does have a removable disc, but where it's only $100 if he says they don't get stolen because they're camouflaged. You put them high up. But if they do, it's not the end of the world because it's $100 investment.
Are they battery powered?
Yep. Battery powered,
And you have to
removable
pull a
disc.
disc out? How do you get the data? Do you pull a disc out of it?
Yep.
Or you-
Little removable drive, bring it back and download it. And he gave me some tips about, you point one at the parking lot at all times, then you point one where the problem is, then you point one at the camera that's pointing at the problem. So that, you can see if people are trying to take it down. And so that's, one for the parking lot, 2 per issue problem sites. I would suggest we start with about 6. And, if we find that we need more, we can get more. And it's not a huge investment either.
So who's going to be pulling out the disc and reviewing the film?
It would be me.
Film. I date myself. The data.
The data.
Right. Okay. I mean, you have to climb up a tree to get these? I mean, they're going to be camouflaged. Who sets them up?
Me. They get strapped onto a tree and they have a lock.
It's not hard.
No.
But they got to be far enough up that people aren't going to go by and rip them off, right?
I will have to bring a step ladder, and I will be looking for buddies because I don't want to go up a step ladder
Yeah, you
alone
need
in the
some help.
woods.
Yeah, you need some help. You need some help. Yeah. Maybe Bob, maybe you Bob Mihalik and Brian, maybe the Trails Committee can come up with some help to.
Tom's
I
been
love
good.
climbing trees, by the
Oh,
way.
really? I'll
Love
ask
climbing.
Kelly.
Kelly wants to climb. Well, there we go. Kelly wants to climb trees too. Okay.
Yeah. And Tom has been helping me with high up signs. He'll come out. He has ladders and he lives right there.
There you go. Okay. Fine. So you'll find some help.
Yeah, I won't do it alone.
Yeah, but we won't go public. Like I won't put anything on the Facebook site asking for help.
Don't even tell people we're putting cameras up.
Exactly.
Yep.
On the QT or whatever that expression.
Chief Liver, is there any problem with us pointing a camera at the parking lot? Do we need to let people know?
Problem if you pointed at someone's home, it's an invasion of privacy, you need a search warrant, but open public spaces, no.
Okay, great. All right, so we need a vote to spend the money on 6. So we'll just say spend the money from the reason I'm confused about the money is this fund with the $70,000. If you look it on a piece of paper, it's called the Conservation Fund.
Right.
The Conservation Fund under state law is a fund that's supposed to be a pool of your fees that were collected. The fees that were collected are only supposed to be spent on the implementation of the State Wetlands Protection Act. So we actually call that the Wetlands Fund, and it's used to pay part of my salary, which is a completely allowable expense every year. So when you vote to expend from the Conservation Fund, it's not the state restricted wetland fee conservation fund. It's your conservation fund, which is this $70,000 of interest.
Why don't we just call it the Wetlands Fund?
Because the Wetlands Fund is actually the fees. See how I'm like, can we get these to be renamed? And the accountant's like, no, we're not going to rename these. Like,
We're
why
venturing
would
into
we
very
rename them?
dangerous territory here, Mia. We're venturing
I
into one of
know.
Wayne Baldelli's favorite topics. I don't want
I
to go
know.
there today. So,
So
okay.
just vote to spend the money.
So moved.
Right. Thank
we
you.
we should have a number here though, not to exceed number.
6 cameras at $99 each. You're tax exempt, so 600 would be fine.
Gonna have to get a lot of batteries.
Let's
Oh,
say
yeah.
not to exceed $700. How's that?
Good idea.
Okay. Todd made a motion. We need a second.
Second.
Second by. Is that
I
second
did.
by Diane?
Yes,
Okay. Roll call vote. Diane Goldner,
yes,
Todd Helwig,
Yes.
Justin Dufresne,
Yes.
Kelly Marston. Kelly Marston.
she moves.
I'm still here, sorry. Yes.
Yes, and I also will vote yes. Thank you. All right. Okay. ATV.
ATV. Chief Liver, do you want to explain the ATV you found? I'm going to try to get a picture of it.
I have had numerous conversations with multiple people, with some environmental officers. Our own DPW director, Scott Sharpenter, is an avid off-road ATV type person. And he has made some suggestions. Mia has also gotten some information from the Maine Warden Service, and the brand that comes up most often as being recommended is Honda. And Winco was the one that was recommended to me. It's a narrower machine. It's 47 inches wide. Some of the others are 52, 53. So a little bit narrower for trail. It's got enough of an engine on it so that, or motor, so that it can do some hauling. Some of the other ones are side by side with a smaller engine, which really wouldn't carry a lot of extra equipment or anything. They're, I found, in high demand right now because everybody's, there you go. With COVID-19 and people not traveling, apparently, as you all know, with the trails, outdoors has become quite active. So there is a bit of a weight on them. This unit here can be designed
Kids are doing it.
so that the back seat, or actually the back cargo rack over the rear wheels, has an adapter kit where you can put a second seat on it so that you can take two people up. It can be equipped with a ball on the back for a small utility trailer. It's also, there's an adapter kit on the front rack there where you can put an equipment box. And my thought was when my officers would be using it, we would take the second seat off, put on an equipment box that would carry things like a fire extinguisher, first aid kit, radio. And if, like I said, conservation may have wanted to use it, or trails, if that's so approved by you folks, they could put the second seat on or take it off, or my plan would be to outfit it. I mean, I would just be looking to see if you guys could fund the basic unit, but any of the extra accessories or the trailer or in a transport trailer, I would take care of that.
Yeah, those are my questions. You've got to pull it up to some location, right? You got to put it on a trailer and drive it up to the mountain.
Yes, it can also, we can register it with a street plate and use it in limited circumstances on public ways, but they're not really safe or designed to be driven on the road. So
right.
I would get a small trailer. All of our vehicles, all our cruisers are outfitted with trailer hitches for the bike mounts and bike racks. So yeah, we would drive it up, park the cruiser, take it off the trailer, and go on up. All of the environmental police have a law enforcement riding class or orientation on driving so as not to, or to reduce the impact of the vehicle on the trails, which obviously I am a big fan of. I actually looked at one unit that's electric with about a 70-mile range, which is basically silent. Which I thought would be much more environmentally friendly, but it's also $16,000. It comes with, like, to replace a battery is $3,000. So, that's well, with the recent budget cuts, that basically, that's $1,000 more than my entire new equipment budget for 2021. So that's out for me, but not the $3,000 battery of the unit itself. I wouldn't have, my expectations not that it will be used every day at all, on a periodic basis, so as not to damage the trails when we're having an issue up there. And on an occasion, just to basically kind of show the flag and let people know that there's a chance of being caught doing something not supposed to do, damaging a trail, building a retaining wall for a pond, or making a waterfall. And I think probably the most beneficial use of it would be for the Trails Committee with a small utility trailer. I mean, with Mia talking about bringing her step ladder and cameras and things like that. Why walk when you can ride? You know, but I do think you would have to also amend your rules so that you would have to specifically authorize the motorized vehicle for express use of official town of Northborough personnel. So because I believe as it is now, your regulations don't allow for any motorized vehicles or ATVs. That would apply to us as well.
Yeah, I had some questions around those lines. My 3 questions I had, one was around housing. Where would it be housed? Would you house it at the police station or the DPW garage or?
Oh, we got plenty of room here.
Okay,
Yep.
so we can house it there.
Four bay garage downstairs. I would take care of the insurance and.
Well, that's my second question was the insurance side.
Yep. That would, it would just be registered as a police vehicle. The town has a policy that it would be negligible for an ATV. All of the town vehicles have significant insurance on them.
So as long as a authorized person, which is to be defined.
Yep.
Bob Mihalik borrows it on a weekend to go up and drag some timber away, hits a rock, flips up, hits his head. I mean, we want to make sure that everybody's covered here, right?
Well, first off, everybody that's gonna, my recommendation would be anybody that touches this has to take some sort of course of instruction, and they have to be wearing a helmet. Obviously.
Yeah.
And the reason this was recommended to me, this particular machine, is that it's a direct drive link. It doesn't have a belt drive, and it's got more of a tempered throttle. An inexperienced rider on some of these machines, if they give it too much gas on the hand throttle, and they're not anticipating the sudden surge forward, they tend to fall off, or the machine will do a wheelie and launch people. Where this machine, apparently, with a torque converter that it has, it's a more gradual acceleration. It's obviously not a race machine. It's not one of the ATVs you see flying through the desert sands at 70 miles an hour. I think the top speed on this thing's about 35. But you're not going to do that on a trail up in Pisgah. And again, it's not just Mount Pisgah either. I mean, there are other trails here. I mean, this would be really handy for us down at Kearney Park when we park off of West Main Street and have to go down there for dog enforcement and other things. And some of the other trails. You know, like I said, we get lots of mileage of trails in town, but you never see the police on it. So I think it would be beneficial to both conservation trails and the police department. I wouldn't expect it to be a sole use for the police department. If I thought that, I'd try to budget for one.
Yeah. Comments from the commission? Todd, Justin, Diane.
I have a question.
Ellie.
And this has probably already been answered already. Why is he looking at a smaller open ATV? Why not have you? But have you looked at something like a Gator that's covered or has a bed?
Yes, but some of the narrower trails, the Gators are too big. I believe, I know that Scott Charpentier recommended against a Gator only because of the size. They're longer. And they have a smaller turning radius in narrow trails.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I had a feeling it was that reason.
And the fire department has a Gator, and they've been limited to some of the trails that they have gone on for emergencies or lost people, just because it's that much wider.
Yeah, and it's taller too. Okay, just wondering.
Good. Todd.
Do it now.
The other thing I would do also was I would pay to have a winch an electric winch put on the front, which again would help dragging boulders and fallen trees out of trails and things like that. But that, and also if someone does happen to get stuck, and I would ask if Declan would make his bridge 42 inches wide, 47. I'm sorry.
Well, if I can
feel bad, I'm asking for money, and he wanted 2,000 to build a bridge. I feel like I'm taking a lollipop from a baby.
What do you think?
Is there an expectation that the trail bridges would actually support this thing?
Yeah, how much does it weigh?
About 800 pounds.
Because I love the concept. I love the concept of the police being able to get around Pisgah. I love the concept of being able to get around Kearney, but Bob could speak to it as well. The bulk of the rest of the trails are way too narrow to drive this around on. Either they're just narrow by nature, or they're just single track. And by far, most of the bridges out in the woods are not even close to supporting this. So I think it's a great idea, but I think that there are really a limited number of trails in town that you could actually operate this on.
Okay, so the curb weight's 657 pounds.
Okay.
Quite honestly, I say that there's the water and the mud that I saw in that picture, we would easily be able to drive through that as opposed to going over the bridge, but it was going to leave ruts and muck and.
Yeah,
the electric
Pittsburgh's
one,
one of the few places where the trails are already that wide.
Yeah.
And most of the other places, I think they're far narrower, and we like them narrower.
Sure.
So I don't know, Bob,
Exactly.
do you have a comment on actually utilizing or the potential damage?
My thought on this was that we would utilize the wider trails to get up into the area, and officers would then alight from it, take the key with them, and sit on a trail, walk a trail, and it just basically would facilitate them getting in and out of the area quicker. I don't expect them to be riding on narrow trails or mountain bike trails, anything like that. This is not a joyride for anybody that's going up there. Okay, it might be about 10 minutes of driving up a trail, and then maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours walking around up there, interacting with people. Like I said, just letting people know that, we're up there.
Yeah, I definitely think having more police presence out on the trails is a good thing. Chief, I was definitely, before you said Kearney Park, I was gonna raise my hand on the Zoom and say, could you please go to Kearney Park with the ATV? I think it would send a message to people that, that they have to follow the law when they're out on the trails as much as when they're on a road or in a shopping mall or something like that. It's not the Wild West. The only comment I would have, and so you're aware of the limitations on the single track trails, I would just have one other comment, which would be perhaps a different paint scheme or some clear identification on the vehicle. Because what I would be a little bit worried about would be, let's say, a group of people who own these ATVs, they see this ATV in the distance, maybe they can't tell that there's an officer on it, and a little light bulb goes off in their head like, oh, I didn't know we could ride ATVs on the Northborough trails. So
I actually have given some thought to one of my, I will actually, you can get a wrap to change the color. If you don't order them, most of the area RV dealers that have them, they only have them in red. That's the predominant color.
Mm-hmm.
But for some very short money, I checked into it for $102. I can have a wrap put on it and make it a different color, blue, white, whatever. And have graphics painted on it. And I thought that if trails were going to use it, I would have a sign made up that says Northborough Trails Committee, or Northborough Trails Maintenance, that you can take it off. If Mia wants to take it up, I can have like a Velcro or Snap-on sign for the sides or the front and rear that says Northborough Conservation Commission. And obviously I'd have just a single one for police, and my officers would be riding. So that it would, just for that reason, people would know that this is an authorized vehicle. And I would, and I had suggested this to Mia too, is we would have to post it at the kiosks that the only authorized motorized vehicles.
Good point. Yeah.
Are official Northborough, conservation trails or police vehicles.
That was one of the questions I had too. Someone who was on the phone call last month brought up the fact, we had this discussion that, well, would we be setting a dangerous precedent by having an ATV up there leaving tracks? People are going to say, hey, you know what? Guess what I can do next weekend?
Yeah, that was actually Liz from Fish and Wildlife. Yeah. Yep. Yep, it will leave tracks. But like I said, I think that when people see who's on it or what it's being used for, and that's noticed, there's notice put up at least at the trailheads, that the the police patrol on an ATV, and that's the only authorized ATV. All other, I mean, you know, it's, ATV riders are under Chapter 90B, the recreational vehicle laws and things like that. They violate the laws. We can seize their ATV. So it's there's a bit of a penalty involved.
Oh, that's a significant penalty. Sure. We get a fleet of them over time. We have a fleet of ATVs to run. So, Justin, what are your thoughts?
No, I think it sounds good to me. I mean, I think it, there's a lot of uses for it. Like, thinking about Mia trying to roll boulders out of the way and move logs and all that. I mean, now you've got something that can certainly help on that front. And I'm sure just having one for the town, would have reasons above and beyond just what we would use it for in the trails and what the police could potentially use it for other things too. So I think it makes a lot of sense.
Okay, thank you. Diane, what are your thoughts?
Was there some kind of seating or trailer that could be used if someone's injured and you need to get them out of the woods? Is that part of this?
The fire department's gator is designed specifically for that.
Would this also, I mean, if in a pinch, could you be able to do something like that?
It depends. You could. It depends on the injury. I mean, if you get somebody with a spinal injury, we're probably not going to throw them in the back of a little trailer without a spine board and straps.
Right.
Yeah, it's really not equipped for that. The fire department does have one specifically built for extricating people from, remote areas.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Okay. Any more questions here? Let me take a look. No hands up. All right, Mia, we're going to vote this one, right?
Yeah, vote to spend the money up to a certain amount. We'll say from the conservation fund. If the town council comes back and says it's not allowable expense, I think plan B would be that we apply for CPC funding next year.
Fair enough. Okay, so this is 10 with a number here. What should we do? I mean, is 10, should we go to 12, not to exceed? I mean, it's
I think to be safe, with what I saw for prices on the dealership sides, which is obviously MSRP, which I would never pay. I would also look for some state contract pricing. The problem is that the one state contracts I haven't seen a Honda yet. And I would say just to make sure that there's enough to buy the basic machine, 10,000.
I think 10's enough. Okay. All right. So it sounds like is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Kelly. Roll call vote. Diane Goldner.
Yes.
Todd Helwig.
Yes.
Justin Dufresne.
Yes.
Kelly Marston.
Yes.
And I will also vote yes.
Thank you.
So we've approved it.
Once we get the money straightened out, we'll figure out how to buy it.
So yeah,
Exactly.
so you're going to
No celebrating it.
Yeah.
You're right. Town council with this one too, Mia, right?
Yeah, make sure we're spending the money right.
Okay. We're probably not going to. We're not looking at this year's model, Chief. So,
But, on that, the difference between a 2019 and the 2020s is $100.
Really?
no kidding. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Good.
At least on the dealers' websites, like I said, I'm not paying MSRP.
I'm gonna go buy myself an orange helmet.
There you go.
Okay, that
Two
takes
birds,
care of
one
the
stone.
FISCA discussion, I think, Mia.
Does it? Is that where we're at?
That's it. Trail inventory, reward poster, hunting policies, cost estimates, trail camera, and ATV.
Awesome.
All right. Informal discussion, 8595 West Main Street. Let's see, who's gonna leave the meeting here?
You don't need me for anything else, do you?
Nope, I think we're good. Chief. Thank you for joining. Thanks for your help.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Bob, you and Brian can leave.
Okay.
And Cheryl Devine can go and do something else.
I think the new
Or I
presenters
can
are.
I'll just bounce you back. You know what? I'll just bounce you back to an attendee, and then you can stick around if you want to.
Okay.
How's that?
So I know Brian W. is one of the presenters. Michelle Gillespie might also be. We can ask
Yep,
Brian
yep,
if he
yep.
wants Michelle in here too.
Yep. Okay, and where Brian's got his hand up. He's there. Michelle is on. Michelle, do you want to
She's
join
got
us
her
too? I
hand up.
bet you do, right? So I will bring you in. All right, you both should be promoted here. I see Brian. I don't see Michelle. Let me double check that.
Hello, all.
Hold on a second here.
There's Michelle.
You see her?
Mhm.
Yes, she is. I know. Okay, good, good. I did it right. Shocking, shocking.
Nice job.
Okay, Michelle, are you on?
I am. Can you hear me?
I can hear. I can't see you. Is that we're gonna go that way?
Hold on.
Your call.
Okay, there we go.
There you
Can you
are.
see me now? Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Who's that guy leaving? Who's that guy leaving you in the room? Just
Yeah.
stuck out. The chief just left. Okay. So,
My
okay.
son's cooking dinner on the grill.
Nice.
Yeah.
Informal discussion. 8595 West Main Street. We walked this site, God, a year and a half ago, Brian. I mean,
Yeah, we did the ANRAD 2018.
ANRAD 2018. Okay.
Yeah. So that's, I think it's valid till August of 2021 is the,
Okay, so
for
you got
the
a year.
ANRAD.
Okay. Do you want to share something here?
I think Mia has it.
Everybody knows what this piece of property is, right? Go down. If you go down,
Thank you, Mia.
because it corners Cherry, right? Cherry and West. is
Cherry
that
and
it?
West Street, correct, yep. And it's got a small pond right there in the front, which is the blue. So
You make
this,
that a little bit bigger, Mia. Just a little bit. Good. Okay. Okay,
so
you're on,
this
Brian.
site, yep. It's approximately 17 acres. There's a 860 feet of frontage along West Street. There's no real frontage on Cherry Street. That's owners by others. The wetland and pond, the ones in the green there, along the frontage of West Street take up about 685 feet of the frontage. Given the applicable zoning with minimum 150 feet of frontage, we can get 5 conventional lots along the front there. So there had been some previous submittals for this property that showed wetland crossings, limited project crossings to the lots. There was, I believe, an old conventional plan or cluster housing. And then we had done a plan, I believe it was in June, May or June, that the town looked at. I think Mia was involved. Rest of the town boards looked at it informally. And there was discussion about potentially doing common drives. And the plan we submitted had no wetland alteration. It had 2 common drives, which under the town, for 2 lots, it's 18-foot diameter width on the pavement. If you go to more than 2, then you have to go to 22-foot town road standards. You have to provide turnarounds for fire trucks, everything else. So we were asked to take a look and see if we could design this with an option that does not have wetland impact, get away from the common drives where you're going to be looking at a much wider footprint. You're going to need, it's going to be much heavier duty construction to road standards. You're going to have bigger machines, more clearing, drainage, the turnaround. So a lot more clearing and grading. So this plan you see in front of you, we have 5 single 12-foot drives with no wetland alteration. The red hatching in the middle there I'm sorry, you gotta be kidding me. He's been quiet all night. Gotta love Zoom meetings. The red hatch is, I am so sorry. The red hatch is pavement that will be removed adjacent to wetlands. Can you guys hear me over the dog barking?
Yep, I can hear.
Yeah.
Can I mute you for 1 second and take care of this?
Sure, sure.
I'm so sorry. Oh my God. If I can find my mute button again. Sorry. Oops, what did I just do?
I can still see it, Brian.
Okay. I don't know what I do with my screen here, but what happened? There we go. I want the plan.
You all set, Brian? You get your screen back?
I'm trying.
Okay, go all the way down the bottom. You'll see two things. You see a thing that looks like a camcorder. Highlight over it. You're going to see two different windows. Click on the one that has all our pretty faces on it.
That just says stop video participants. What happened? Oh boy. Thanks, dog.
You
I
may
don't
be on
see
a
you,
second
Brian.
screen.
I know, I can't see the plan anymore. Oh boy, what did I do?
So you can still see everyone's faces, but you can't see the plan.
There we go. Now I've got it.
Okay.
Sorry. So as I was saying, get over here. Unbelievable. So the red hatching would be removal of pavement. The existing driveway that's labeled there is the driveway that exists out to the house that's on the property now at Lot 2.
Yep.
So there'll be no new pavement there, and then we've removed the red hatched areas around the wetlands and restore those. The driveway to the southwest there, if you zoom in, there's a 35-foot setback, so we're holding that on that undisturbed wetland, if you will. I mean, I know it's mowed at times.
It's almost like a wet meadow, isn't it?
It is wet meadow, so we'd be holding the 35 there. The one to the southwest.
Yeah, other side.
And that drains out, that drain has a drain that goes out under Cherry Street.
Right there, yeah, okay.
Yep. And that driveway that's there could shift even, a little more further north once it gets into the field. So, and then Mia, can you slide to the, up to the very top to Lot 5? So adjacent to that little wetland finger there, which is just, it's a rocky slope that comes down there. The driveway will be within 14 feet. But again, no wetland alteration. So we were asked to look at a plan that, meets zoning so they could have their frontage. And like I said, 680 feet of the frontage is eaten up by wetlands, or, it's almost a limited project for those particular frontages. But this plan would result in no wetland alteration. The old plan had 6 lots. You lose a lot by doing this to go to 5 lots, but you can do 5 12-foot driveways without having to go to the large common drives and still have no wetland alteration and have a little removal of pavement close to the wetland in the central area there. So we wanted to, bounce this off the commission and get their thoughts on it.
What's the conservation easement that you talk about there?
Well, we thought it'd be good. I know when we did the ANRAD walk with Mia, especially around the pond and that central wetland,
yeah,
and the wet meadow to the south, that, it's a high quality wetland in there. Obviously there was some historic disturbance that created some of this, but now it's matured. So we were thinking it'd be good to put a conservation easement around that protects it from whoever the homeowners are. They know they have a conservation easement that says, you know, you can't, it's for passive. You can't be putting buildings or doing other things in there. Or if they need to cut a dead tree, you know, if there's dead wood that comes down, then they would have to talk to the commission. I mean, obviously we could come with some language on that and run it by the commission, but we thought it'd be a good way to protect those areas additionally beyond, you know, just them being called as wetlands.
Okay.
You know, that's something that could be written in, that'd be on whoever each lot's deed, that they have a conservation easement on their property.
So under this plan, Brian, the only quote unquote negative impact to us would be the finger and lot number 4.
Yeah, lot number 4 and 5. Yeah, that little finger there. So we'd be looking for some relief on a waiver for that, for the setback. But the benefit is we have no wetland crossings whatsoever.
Yep. Yep.
And we're removing some pavement down on the lot 2 wetland.
Yep. Is that house occupied in lot 2 now?
Yes.
Okay.
I think the daughter, Michelle, you can correct me, but I think the daughter of the owner is living there.
Yeah, there's someone who's living there now, but it's gonna be put up for sale.
Okay, so lot 2 is not going to be, that house is not going to be raised. It's going to be kept as it is.
No, that's going to be that's to be retained.
Okay.
And we would just reroute their driveway. There's the big paved turnaround that's part of that red hatch. That pavement would come out.
Yep.
And then revegetate that.
Okay. All right. Questions from the commission?
Can I just make a comment?
Certainly.
This is an abomination. I mean, this is just terrible.
I don't, who's speaking? I don't.
Todd Helwig.
Okay.
I can't, I mean, all of this pavement, all of these snakes, you're going to put all this in the buffer zone and I mean, there's that issue. And then there's as a citizen, it looks stupid. And I don't think you could get away with this in most communities.
Well, it's allowed by zoning and the regulations.
You haven't gotten it yet.
Well, I'm not saying just from conservation. I'm saying zoning regulations as well.
These are the same comments we had, I think, when we saw this before the first time, which was there was something similar at the time where you had all these driveways and we said, it makes no sense not to have a common driveway for this. If the economic function or the ability to develop this the most profitably is not our issue, right? So if a common driveway is difficult, go apply for it and try to get a variance.
Well, the common driveway down, you'd still have one single driveway within the 35 on the top lot.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, you haven't gotten approval for that either.
Well, no. But I mean, you either have conforming lots that are basically limited projects that show driveways going through wetlands. I mean, those are allowed. Your bylaw allows up to 3,500 feet of alteration with a permit for a limited project. Going to the 22-foot wide and 18-foot wide common drive, you see where the 3 snakes are, as if you call that down on lot 2, and there's already one existing driveway there now, so that's 2 new driveways. That's 2 single 12-foot driveways versus a 22-foot wide common driveway splitting to another 18-foot driveway. That is a lot more pavement.
Then get a waiver.
But Todd, you just said this is too much pavement. I'm telling you, if you have a 22-foot wide and an 18-foot wide common driveways down there, it's much more pavement than what we're showing here.
Then get a waiver, because you're not necessarily going to get a conservation permit to do that either.
A waiver to what though? I don't understand.
Whatever the planning board regulation is, I don't know whether that, if, maybe it's a variance.
Oh, you mean from the
You
pavement?
would need an order of conditions to build that thing anyway, right? One way or the other, you're gonna need an order of conditions.
Correct.
And I'm telling you, even if you applied for a common driveway that had more disturbance than that, I don't know that we would give it to you.
Okay, well, they have land that is buildable by zoning and frontage. And they have wetlands that cross and create basically limited project status for 80% of the frontage. And the old plans showed crossings through the wetlands, and that's what the commission had seen. And they said, we don't want crossings through the wetlands if you can come up with another plan. That's what we were asked to do. That's what we're presenting. Now we're hearing that.
Well, you've
even
just
if
heard
we
from
can't
me.
cross through the wetlands.
Now you've only heard from me. I'm just one member, so
All
I'm
right.
done.
Well, no, that's why we wanted to have this meeting.
Informal discussion, that's why we're doing this.
Right.
Who was the one last time that said it looked like a racetrack? Remember, we added up the width of the driveways, 12 plus 12. So we're still at 36 feet wide if we nestled them side by side. I'm assuming you're gonna have something in between the driveways.
Yeah, if you zoom up on that, there is a 4-foot grass strip between, there was a minimum of 3 to 4 foot grass strip between them.
All right, so 36 plus 8, we're at 42 feet wide of almost solid pavement. I live on the backside of this property.
42
and I know there's a mirror at that corner because it's already a nightmare. This still looks like a racetrack. And I don't understand what this existing drive and the second drive, that's all going downhill. Those driveways are completely cutting off the function of that wetland.
Well, I would disagree that it's cutting off the function of that wetland. There's still plenty of upland in between there. And the house and the pavement that's 4 feet off of it has been there for, I don't know what year that house is, 50s or 60s. And that still functions. So we'd be actually following the existing drive until it gets into lot 3 and taking out the shed and the pavement that's there. And then the driveway that's servicing lot 2, the existing house, would get shifted into the middle, and then we'd remove the pavement around the isolated wetland.
I don't know. I see the project on Church Street that had the 3 drives snaking down, and it just looks like a disaster. I agree with Todd. We should be looking for something.
Well, I mean, looks and environmental, I mean, looks wise, it may, but I mean, plus you're looking at a small scale plan, and what's out there in the field is different.
There's some confusion about the width. So just the north, you've got 2 driveways servicing lot 4 and 5, and each of them are proposed 12 foot.
Correct.
And a combined 2 family would be 22 feet.
If you did a common drive for 2 lots, you can do 18 feet. If it's more than 2, it has to go to 22 feet in town road standards.
So how is the 2? So I think that's what I'm hearing from Todd and Kelly is there's confusion about how 2 12-foot drives are better than 1 18-foot drive. And then the same question with different numbers on the southern set.
Well, the southern one, you'd have to go to, because you'd be doing 3 lots, you'd have to go to the 22-foot widths. But to town road standards, so you'd have to clear and grade for drainage basins.
So the bottom was
having to do,
12-foot.
More drain. You'd have to do drainage infrastructure.
Well, I think that would be preferable, right? Because then, suspended solids and they could be attenuated and treated.
All right. Well,
so
we had showed the. Well, you'd still be. This would be 5 lots. You'd still have to meet DEP. So you'd be doing for the single family drives. You'd be doing more infiltration swales, things like that. instead of basins.
But what I'm hearing from Todd and Kelly is the confusion that why 3 12-foot wide driveways are better than one 22-foot, and then the same in the north, why 2 12-foot wide driveways are better than one 18-foot.
Well, we had showed on the plan that you reviewed with Kathy Jubert in the town, we had showed the common drive and 22-foot and 18-foot drives. But we were under the impression the town and you did not like that because it had a waiver to the 35-foot.
I think my comment was the commission would always prefer less pavement, and that was from the previous time that you came before the commission. So my comment was just to echo their sentiments that they always prefer less pavement and they prefer less work within the buffer zone.
Right.
And I do, they've expressed repeatedly, which is what I tried to express in my comment. They presented a plan informally to staff. And I said that you have been setting a precedent that since they just passed these setbacks less than a year ago, that they're not looking to grant any waivers anytime soon. And they've expressed that to other applicants in other informal discussions. Just last month, they said it.
So, okay, I wasn't
But
aware
still
of that.
back
it's
to
in
the original.
regulation that you can grant waivers, but
They can, but, and it's going to be up to them whether they do or not, but still back to the north, we've got 2 12-foot driveways.
Right.
Why are 2 12-foot driveways preferable to one 18-foot? Because I do believe my comment said the commission preferred less pavement and combined
Right.
driveways.
the problem there is the zoning regulations say if you go to a common drive, it has to be 15 feet off the property line. So that would push, you'd start 15 feet off the property line and then push an 18-foot wide. So you're already at 33 feet down to that wetland from the property line. So that, in that case, with like a driveway, we can start at 4 feet off the property line. So you have 4 plus 24 is 28. That's why we went instead of a common drive on the north.
And for stormwater standards, when you do break it into the 5 lots, you are going to trigger a full stormwater management plan for the full site.
To the maximum extent practicable, yes.
Which for new development is
So
essentially.
unfortunately, the zoning up on the common drive, it would be desirable to put a common drive there as far as saving space, but the zoning says if you do a common drive, you've got to start 15 feet off the property line. So that
And that's
pushes.
going to encroach into the finger.
Yeah, so if we have to start 15 feet off the property line instead of 4 feet, and then go to an 18-foot minimum drive width, that pushes us down.
Justin, you want to say something?
Yeah, I guess I was wondering how many lots can be served off a common drive? Can you do all 5?
You can do 5.
So couldn't you just do a common drive where you have those 3 that are all together? Couldn't we just do one common drive right there that's 22 feet wide that comes about into lot 3, and then you branch off your driveways from there? So then you're really only coming in between those 2 wetlands, and you're not dealing with that finger in the offset to the wetland.
Yeah, we looked, that was on one of the options, was doing the 22-foot common drive coming in where the kind of the 3 single drives are.
Yep.
Again, we'd be within 35 feet. I think we can hold the 35 feet and remove some of the single drive that's there, the existing drive. And then come up the hill, and then you'd do you'd have to do a turnaround for the fire department up the hill, but that'd be outside the buffer zone.
Mm-hmm.
And they have other.
That was on the plan that was shown, I think, but.
Because I guess I don't see the need for the 2 between 4 and 5. If we're going to do, kind of one driveway entrance, why not do it where it exists today? Or, even slide it further away from the wetlands and remove the one that exists today, kind of split the difference there.
Right.
Improve
I
that
think
condition and
one of the
then
options we had
bring it
showed-
up.
One of the options we had showed before.
Okay, I don't think I was there
remember
before.
if the planning board wasn't, I'd have to look back on my notes on that
Yeah.
one.
Did we ever see a plan with one common drive? I don't remember seeing one with one common drive. I remember the last plan had, it was similar to this, you know, it had multiple. I remember Kelly talking about the racetracks.
Last time, I believe we suggested one common drive and we were told it would be more profitable because research has shown that people spend more money or something on a house with its own driveway.
Oh.
That's
Yeah,
correct. That's what we were told.
The last plan, going back to Justin's comment, well, everyone's comment, is we showed a 22-foot wide common drive coming in where the triple single is now. It comes in a couple 100 feet, and then there's an 18-foot wide drive that goes off to the left that services lot 3 and the existing house. And then the one that services the 3 up top stays the 22-foot with a turnaround up top for the fire department. And then we had showed a single 12-foot drive for the lot to the north going along the finger. And that was holding 30 feet off the wetland.
Was this a
So
plan that
I
was
think
shared with the
I think
commission?
what I get from the commission then would, if we could do they'd be looking for the one drive down by lot 2. And instead of splitting it, just wrap it around up top and then access all the lots from that side.
I mean, that seems to probably give you the least amount of pavement within the buffer. You know, I don't know how the lot 5, if you can get one in there, so it has its own drive that comes up and still meets our requirement, our setback requirements.
Well, it'd be 30 feet. I can tell you a single 12-foot drive there would be 30 feet off. So if you're not going to grant any waivers, then we have no option there. I mean, is 30 feet with plantings and stuff along that? You know, like I said, this property, you've got 680 feet of wetlands and stuff bisecting the front of the property. It's basically a limited project. So if you'd go lot 5, if we could go one single 12-foot driveway tucked to the north, well, take the driveway that you see to the north there on that, take out the second driveway, you'd go to 30 feet from the wetland. So we'd be asking for one waiver from 35 feet to 30 feet. And then we'd go to one common drive to do the rest.
For lots 2, 3, for lots 1, 2, and 3.
That would take care of 1 through 4.
Okay.
Because then you could wrap back around and stay outside the buffer zone.
Yep. It was.
To me, I mean, that seems the most natural, you know, way of doing it here. But
and we're still talking no wetland crossings, right?
Correct. And then the crossing to the north there would go from 14 feet to 30 feet. We'd still hold 35 feet to the meadow wetland.
Can you remind me again why you can't have a common driveway serving all 5?
You can.
And why wouldn't you?
Well, then you're coming down that steep slope, I think was part of the thing. You'd have to bring it. Because if you're going up into the central part of the site to come down to lot 4 or 5 from, well, it might be doable. I'd have to run it. It might be.
I think we'd be looking, you know, if we're going to grant a waiver for, you know, setback, I think we'd be looking, Brian, probably for any alternative that would avoid that waiver for sure.
Yeah.
If something exists that can avoid us granting that waiver, I think we'd probably be inclined to go that route.
No, I got you. I'm
for
glad
everybody,
we're
but-
all chatting about it. That's why
Yep.
we're here. let me I'm just writing down a couple of notes. So.
Hey, Mia. You're muted.
Hello.
We have at least one abutter standing by. They are welcome to talk at an informal discussion if they want.
I think it's up to Michelle and Brian if they want to. I mean, it is a public meeting, so they can.
They're not raising their hand, but I'm going to ask, if we can, I'll give them the option if that's allowed or not.
It's up to Michelle. I don't really mind. I mean, it's informal. So if there's an abutter that wants to voice some concern or whatever, that's it's fine with me. It's up to Michelle.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
Okay. Let me see. Marjorie Markson, I think you're in a butter, correct? And if you want to speak, you raised your hand. Okay, here you go. You're a panelist now. She's probably joining us. Okay, Marjorie, you're no video and you're muted also. No, you're not muted. Okay.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, hi. No, I just wanted to sit in really and see what some of the alternative plans were because, not just personally as an abutter too pleased about the two driveways on the north side. They're, right up against our property. And, all the pavement would not please me. So just wanted to say that I guess I would, if they could come up with an alternative plan where we move some of that away from us, we would appreciate it. And I think it would be kind of unsightly up there as well, but that's all.
Okay. All right, good. Thank you.
Yep.
Sorry, go ahead, Michelle.
Yeah, I just want to comment to the board. We did talk to a lot of the butters around the property, and they were all thrilled with that they've reduced it down to only 4 buildable lots and keeping the existing house. They seemed to be happy with what we were showing them and talking with them about, and we were not getting any pushback. We did talk to Margie. She made the same comment to us. But all the other abutters that are around the property, we were going to get letters to send to you guys when the more formal process was going to go forward.
Yeah. All right. All right. Anything else? Well, you got some input.
No, I appreciate it. I'm glad we chatted about it. And I have a clearer picture of where to head next. So I thank you for taking the time. I know you guys had a busy night, so.
Okay. Well, thanks you had to bear with for most of it too, so.
Yeah, that's, that's all right. And Mia, you should get a orange crowbar.
All right.
Thank you
Super.
very much for your
Thank you.
time.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, folks.
All right.
When is your next meeting? So we can come back again.
I think it's 9/21, right, Mia?
September 21st.
9/21. What, informally, Michelle, again?
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay. Because I think there's a cutoff date for anything formal, which is like the 3rd or something. Mia has that date.
Yeah, September 4th. It is the 3rd because of the holiday.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll work
Very
on
good.
that.
Good.
Okay.
Thanks, folks. I'll drop
Thank
you off.
you.
Let you drop yourself. Super. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Okay. All right. Just us.
Todd, I think you're my spirit animal.
I try.
Yeah. I was going to say, Todd, you really have got to get off the fence with some of these issues.
I don't like to hide the cards.
Oh, gosh. Well, I mean, the good news is it looks like they're staying away from the wet meadow and from any wetland crossings. So that's good news. At least for me.
Can I just
All right.
say, Greg,
Sorry, go ahead, Diane. What?
can I just say that sometimes this particular person has to be pushed before he'll think about some of the possibilities and what he can do? Because we went through all this when we were out there in the field,
It's a different person now.
Yeah.
but no, Brian was there.
It's a different owner. So the Mike Casaselli was the one who hired Waterman
Okay.
for the RDA, for the ANRAD.
Mhm.
And then Mike is now, Casaselli is backed out and it's back to the previous owners, the Viners, and they're looking to develop. So they're kind of like working. You can kind of tell they're not developers. Mike Casaselli was a developer. So he was
Right.
kind of leading the design. And now we're kind of getting different ideas.
When we did the ANRAD walk was with Caselli, right? He had that like beekeeper's mask on or something. Or that, yeah.
And he's a developer.
Okay.
So we were kind of speaking the same language. And so now we're kind of having these language barriers because we're getting questions from the app, from the owners.
Mm-hmm.
So we're kind of trying to, anyways. I'm also going to look up the whole limited project because I did not, I don't want to talk about it because they left, but I'm going to be looking up limited projects because I'm not sure that this project will be a limited project after they divide it up.
Okay.
Creating a limited project.
All right. Well, then the more discussion we have up front with them will make things easier down the road, right? Whenever they come up with something formal, hopefully.
Yep. Yep.
All right. What do we have for Open Space Committee representative?
Oh, we skipped over the meeting calendar. Don't forget to go back to that.
Meeting calendar. Let's go back
but we
to
can
meeting
do-
calendar. Meeting calendar.
Trying to pick a date in October so I can reserve it. We've been switching to the third. We can't reserve the third Monday because if the Board of Selectmen can't meet on the second Monday, they may move to the third and then we get bumped.
Right.
So we can try the second Monday is going to be Columbus Day. So there's a good chance we would get bumped, but we didn't get bumped in September. Although the second Monday in September is not a holiday, it's the 14th. So they're meeting on the 14th. We're meeting on the 21st. So if you look at October, and they only set their meetings like a month or two in advance. So they haven't published their October meetings yet. So my advice is that we pick a day that's not a Monday in October because the second Monday in October is Columbus Day. And so it's a good chance the third will get taken by the Board of Selectmen.
Mia, they did set the agenda on the.
Oh, they did.
They did it Monday night,
Oh, I can't find it.
19th.
They picked the 19th.
They're
Okay.
they're only meeting on the 19th in October.
Great. Thank you. So do you want to meet on another night that month? Like a
We're keeping the
Tuesday or a
21st
Wednesday?
of September.
21st of September. But I want to schedule us in October.
Okay.
So what day in October? If the Board of Selectmen is the 19th, we could do Wednesday, October 21st.
Well, what about, I remember talking to David Kane, right? He has a lot of conflicts with other existing meetings. It's when we've done Wednesdays before, so maybe Wednesday's a good day.
We should pick two dates because we might come up across barriers. So maybe Wednesday, October 14th and Wednesday, October 21st as possible dates.
Work for me.
Works for
Yeah,
Greg,
that works.
Justin,
Fine.
Todd,
Fine.
Diane,
Fine, be fine.
Kelly.
I'm good. I have jury duty on one day, but if I'm still there at 7 o'clock at night, shoot me.
Okay. All right. So I'll try for those dates in October. Thank you.
Okay. How about November?
You want to look at November too? It's a good idea.
Well, I mean, are we just going to go to the second Monday going forward?
I think we're going to go to the third Monday going forward. Chief, did they choose a November date or just October?
They actually went through all the way through into December.
I can't find it online.
Well, they just did it. So hang on.
Oh,
a
they probably
second.
hasn't been posted yet.
Yeah, November 9th and November 23rd.
Okay, so how about November 16th? That's the third Monday.
Okay.
And as a backup, we can look at Wednesday, November 18th.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Chief, do you have their December dates?
I do. December's a little different because John does the financial trend monitoring.
Mm-hmm.
So let me take a look. Give me a second. 21st.
21st. Okay.
I don't think they're meeting on the 7th because I think they're doing the financial trend monitoring. They are on the 10th.
Okay, so December 14th is the second Monday. Do you want to try for that night?
Sure,
As a backup, how about the 16th?
that works. Seems to follow a convention too. So
Okay, so I will let you know what dates I can get and we can set those up.
good, good.
Okay.
Okay.
Right now, Mia, all those dates are open for the webinar license.
Ooh,
Oh, excellent. Good, good.
nice.
Open Space Committee representative.
Greg's looking for a replacement.
I'm looking for replacements. Currently, me, I've not been a great attendee for a number of reasons, but if anybody who here has a desire to take that role, it's open. They meet, they don't meet monthly, they meet maybe like every other month, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Next meeting's August 31st.
Right.
If we could just get
So-
someone that would be free for that date, that's a good start because we're going to try to get a new commissioner and it's possible the commissioner might already be on the open space committee.
So, well, regardless, when that, I'll exercise my power of the chairman, and one of the other, that new commissioner's roles will be the Open Space Committee.
There you go. Is anyone free to come on August 31st?
I'm
Good,
not.
Mike.
My birthday is the 29th, and my wife told me I have to take off the 31st for some reason. I don't know what that reason
Ah, very good.
Uh-oh.
is. Yeah. So who knows?
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, I can do it.
Thank you, Todd.
Todd will
Can we
cover.
go back to the new commissioner thing? Am I missing something? Are we losing Mia?
No,
No,
no. Wayne Baldelli has left us.
Oh, okay, that's right. Agent commissioner. I was like, whoa, hold on, brakes. Okay.
That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, we've gotten some applications and they're going to try to pull together an interview committee soon.
Right. So we're waiting for the select board to identify their participants on the interview committee, and that'll be me. So
Mr. Chair, they did that as well on Monday night. They assigned a temporary, I believe it's Selectman Kalen was assigned to the interview committee.
Tim Kalen, he's your rep.
there we go. All
See,
right.
aren't
So hopefully we'll move forward here in the next month, right? Get some action.
You got some really good applicants. So
We'll determine that. Thank you, Mia.
I already told Greg who I wanted. So
Wayne's end of term. Wayne Baldelli end of term. Kelly, that's an update on the gift certificate. Anything going on there?
Yes. So, hold on. I guess I can turn my camera back on again. I'm no longer in the store. I'm now pressing t-shirts. I do have the gift certificates. So I have, I got him some great gift certificates to the Fisherman's Marina down at where the walk is. I'm sorry, my brain is shot at this point in the day.
Sudden Sam's? No, not Sudden Sam's. Seafood Sam's?
No, the one that's on the canal, the new one.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So we got 2 gift certificates for $75 each because they said they don't give out gift certificates over $100. But I was not expecting on Kathy Schubert and the additional money that came in. So I have about $40 extra. I was waiting for tonight's meeting to ask you, do you want me to get more at the same restaurant, or do you want me to get him something at like Bella's where he can pick up some tackle?
I think he plays golf at Dennis Pines. You know, so maybe spending $40 and get him a gift certificate at Dennis Pines or something. You could pro
Okay.
shop for, you know.
Yeah, so I have an additional $40. A staff meeting. I have to stamp shirts for all my staff for tomorrow. I'm sorry.
Does that sound reasonable to folks and they go that way with the extra $40?
Yep.
Yes. Okay.
You could probably do it online, Kelly, I bet too, you know.
Okay. Will you put that into, are you
I'll send
gonna
you a
put-
text. I'll
Thank
send you a
you.
text.
I remember that name.
Okay, not a
Okay.
problem. Got you.
And then Kelly, once you get them, just stick them in the Dropbox at Town Hall and I'll put them in the card and mail them.
Oh, perfect. That was my next question is now what
Yep.
do I do with them?
I get the card coming, so.
Okay, cool.
Great. Okay. Thank you, Kelly.
Yes, thank you.
Good luck with your staff meeting tomorrow.
They're tie-dyeing, so fun.
Correspondence, John Edward Drive dumping letter.
Yeah, that went out.
Okay.
So last month I reported to you that about the 84 Pleasant Street dumping letter. So from that, we got a call that's, I think actually Kelly identified a landscaper from a specific address. So that person got a specific letter and I hand delivered it and just explained the situation and asked her to direct her landscapers to put it somewhere else. Then John Foraker, he owns 99 Pleasant and 0 West Main, and the property goes all the way across to Route 20 where you had a single family house there. He asked me to come walk his property with him, and we walked all along the back of John Edward Drive where people have fenced backyards, and there's actually like gates in the fence for them to come and dump in the wetlands. Like it's just very clear violation. Normally there's property owner issues, like dumping is on John's property, but it's extremely clear. Like you have to bushwhack through the back of John's field to get to these paths that have a gate to dump in the wet. So it's obvious, like there would be no legal issue with us enforcing upon these people. But John wants to be a good neighbor, and he requested that instead we send the letter to the entire neighborhood and just say, and because normally I would just start knocking on the front door and be like, move it within 30 days or you're going to get an enforcement order. But he's like, just give him more time, be a good neighbor. And so I sent a letter to everyone in John Edwards Drive, because it looks like as you're driving up John Edwards, everyone on the left is dumping across the street at 84 Pleasant, and everyone on the right is dumping on the back of John's property.
Yep.
So I gave them till December 1st to clean it up and remove those piles, as well as they all have illicit discharges. There's a bunch. I saw some
You're talking the
PVC
one on the
pipes.
Foraker property is till December
1st. December
What
1st.
what about across the street?
Well, I found just the one landscaper,
Okay.
We couldn't prosecute that one. We couldn't follow up because there's no clear idea of who's doing it, except that one lady. But
So I tried to do the neighborly thing because you said, talk to your neighbor, blah, 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 blah. And I was there walking and I said, hey, because I saw the leaves going down. I said, did you know that's a wetland? I said, it's really sensitive habitat and you shouldn't be putting grass there. And I think you're really not supposed to be. And she just looked at me and said, and you are? I said, I'm on the Conservation Commission. She's like, figured. And she walked away.
did you get her address?
Nope.
Follow her home next time.
She already hates me and she knows I'm her neighbor.
Yeah. Well, if you figure out who she is, I'll go talk to her because it's just the law,
Yeah. Okay. All right. So they've been duly notified.
Yeah. And I got 2 phone calls. One person didn't identify themselves, and another person didn't identify themselves, left a phone number, and his voicemail is literally, hi, it's me, leave a message, and his voicemail box is full. So there's 2 people are trying to complain, but they haven't effectively complained yet.
Okay.
I don't care.
Stay tuned.
No public record there.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, other correspondence.
Yep. Worcester Lawn
No.
campaign from the Ocean River Institute.
Yes. Did anyone visit the site? They're looking for testimonials.
For
We've
what?
never about using low phosphorus materials on lawns. So it's like she's called every day. It's like a campaign. Let me get open into the it's in the pre-meeting memo, right? And I can show you the website. Is it in the pre-meeting memo?
I don't see
No.
it in there.
No. No.
All right, let me find it in the email then.
Well,
I
we
told
shouldn't
her I
spend
would
more
share
than
with
90
you.
seconds on this topic, Mia.
I know,
so,
I feel bad.
If it's not in the memo, it has to go to next month.
that's
I found it. It's called Worcester Lawns for Climate Change. Hang on, it's opening right now. We can move on to the next correspondence. We received a follow-up report for, do you remember the blowout at 330 Bartlett Street?
Yep. I read the
Where there
report.
was
It's
a
good report.
slump. Yeah, and so it's fully resolved. In fact, the base, I used to walk the perimeter outside the silt fence, and it's now so overgrown I can't get in there, and I'm now walking the site from the top of the slope. That's good news. You know, that's what we wanted.
They were very responsive to that situation, and Goddard really did a nice job in there.
They did, and all their work has held. And you know, we wanted a 75% growth. It's like 150% right now. It's overgrown. I can't get in there. Let me
Okay,
make
good.
sure there's no more correspondence.
Good. Nothing?
I'm just looking in here.
Anything else going on while you're looking, Mia, for next month? We know we'll see West Street back again with an informal, at least, probably informal discussion.
Mm-hmm.
We had some continuations from, we got 161 Church, continuation to next month, a couple of COCs. Hayes Memorial and 90 West Main continued, so.
There is something on the agenda that they asked me to put on. I wasn't ready for this question.
For September?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, it's just a certificate of compliance for 124 Howard Street. Oh, 92 Whitney. Sorry, 92 Whitney.
Okay.
All right. So this, let me share with you the lawn initiative. Because I'm pretty sure you're not going to want to do anything about it, but I did promise her I would show it to you.
Check that box off.
Yeah. You generally don't side on things like this. Can you see it?
Yes.
So it's Worcester Lawns for Climate Restoration, and they're trying to encourage people to have healthy lawns. There's a website on the Ocean River Institute that is supporting this campaign or housing this campaign, and she's looking for testimonials. So if any of you have a personal testimonial about a green, healthy lawn,
yep,
or if the Conservation Commission wanted to make a statement, like the Northborough Conservation Commission supports phosphorus-free lawns or anything like that. I've never really, you do have a standard boilerplate condition that people will use the chemicals as noted in the manufacturer's instruction. Like they won't overuse, so they won't overspray their ChemLawn, that kind of thing. But I don't think you ever prohibit the use of fertilizers.
Have we prohibited the use of fertilizers?
Maybe in
No.
specific areas.
Maybe, yeah.
I think we always ask people to follow the directions on whatever they're using.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's not gonna be enough what she's looking for, right?
I don't think
No.
so.
That'll be make sure you put on just enough of your phosphorus-based fertilizer, not any more. But
Yeah. So I can just reply that, in our standard order of conditions, near wetland resource areas, we ask people to follow the manufacturer's instructions, but we don't prohibit the use of fertilizers.
fair enough.
And if any of you've now, the information has been disseminated to you. If any of you want to follow up and provide a personal testimonial, you can. Okay.
Mia, Route 20, that the culvert's done, right?
It is. They did not notify me. So, I mean, we really wanted it done. So I'm
Yeah.
not going to go out and stop them.
That's good. So now that base is gonna be functional again.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay.
Just in time for Triple E season.
Nothing else going on? Once around the block here, anybody have anything? Everybody here in September, as far as we know?
Kind of.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion?
Moved to end.
Second.
Okay. We're gonna
Was
take a vote to end.
That was Todd and then Kelly.
Todd and Kelly. Diane Goldner,
Yes.
Todd Helwig,
Yes.
Justin Dufresne.
No.
Who wants to keep going?
I'll go. I'm on yes.
Kelly Marston.
Mute him.
Ellie's an aye?
Yes.
Okay, as am I. Good deal. All right. And thank you, Chief, for your help in the background there. Hope we didn't cause too much strife and angst.
Pretty easy, guys. Pretty easy.
Hey, how often do you use your gator?
How often do we use it? We don't. Oh, well, we don't use it that often. I can tell you it's great for brush fires if they're remote, but we haven't had a lot of those lately. We use it a lot for events. So we used it for the town meeting. We had it set up for the town meeting
Nice.
with the if we had to transport somebody off the field.
Okay.
We use it for it actually goes to Hopkinton every year for the marathon every year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but our guys are the most that they're out there is actually training. They get out and they go out and at the trails they can get to. We like to take the new guys out, let them go out, let them see what's around, and then every winter we actually put the tracks on. We take the wheels off and put the the tracks on.
Yeah, there's the
So-
real use for it in the wintertime to bring it
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Good, cool.
Was that
Okay.
funded through CPC?
Yes.
Okay.
That was
You guys
before my
applied for
ti-
it?
Yeah, that was before my time, but yes, it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good. Thanks, Chief. Thanks, folks.
No problem, guys. Thank you.
Stay cool, stay well.
Thank
Talk to you
you.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.